Imagine describing the Neon Crew podcast to someone who's never listened before and then asking them to record it. It will sound similar, but the devil is in the details. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 121 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Mac.
And what you just heard is a new special version of the theme song with a bit of a twist. It was composed by our buddy Gideon, who does our music. And I actually had a hand in helping him with composing this. And by hand, I mean I literally just did the brrrr, like I just physically pressed down on those keys.
Did he point at you to hit it?
He legit.
Nice.
That is pretty much how it went. I was at the keyboard and he's like, there you go. But that is a remix of the What Goes Bump in the Night theme from the early days of that show.
You guys aren't that synthy.
Mm-hmm. So hello everybody, I'm Trevor Jensen.
Yes, so we are joined by Trevor from the What Goes Bump in the Night show. And I say show instead of podcast because you guys have kind of evolved over time. You guys have sort of changed a little bit of like your dynamic and what you guys do as far as like your show and your thing. You kind of started out as like, oh, we're a paranormal podcast. We talk about ghosts, we talk about aliens, we talk about, you know, things that go bump in the night. And you kind of have gradually entered into the realm of paranormal investigations, actually going to the places and, you know, seeing what that's all about, seeing if there's a presence there, you know, doing this overnight stay investigative work, you and Riley. And so I'm just curious, like, what that transition was like and what made you guys decide to start venturing more and more into investigative work.
Yeah, so me and Riley really early on decided while we were working together that we were going to start the audio side of the podcast, and it evolved from us just talking about, you know, ghosts and aliens, and then like our favorite podcast at the time, like Last Podcast on the Left, or I really liked the No Sleep like stories that would always come out every week and whatnot. Wonderful.
The ones on Reddit.
Yep. I was to say, and that kind of like fueled the fire for us to go, well, I mean, it can't be that hard. Yeah. So we just bought the podcast equipment and then just started doing it because Riley's dad also was a DJ at one point, like basically. So he would always have all the stuff sitting around too. So he's like
our friend.
Exactly. And he was like, just pick one out and then we'll get it. And then he was like, go on this website. And then we picked it out and we're like, all right, cool. And then we started, you know, really early on, just a couple of mics and then just a mix board.
I think I saw 2023.
I can't remember the exact date, but I think it was 7 years ago, so something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it was like when I started getting onto Spotify.
Yeah, when it started moving platforms and whatnot, when we started finding like exactly what we're going to use for our like streaming site and whatnot. Yep. Because like we really weren't being consistent when we first started either, because I was just like at that time we were like, we're starting a podcast, and then I was like, I'm having a kid. So right when we started, we had to go on like a good, you know, like 3 or 4 month hiatus because I was like, hey, newborn, and that comes first, understandably, and everybody that's part of our, like, we call them the night crew, that is like our friends and family and everybody that listens to us and whatnot, like they are awesome and they stuck with us through it all and whatnot. So as that evolved, me and Riley were talking about, you know, places, and we ourselves had gone out and investigated a few places without doing like any actual, you know, like.
Do you guys have the equipment, or is it?
Now we do.
Now you do. Okay.
We didn't in the beginning. In the very beginning, we were very, very much so just like, here's a phone, here's like an app that you can use, and then on top of that,
resources you got.
Exactly.
Right?
You just use what you can.
Yeah, use what you have. I'm assuming it kind of evolved the same way the format did. Like once you started like gaining more equipment, you were like, okay, we have the confidence now to like further branch out and like do more things, go to more locations, that sort of thing.
Well, and as funny as it is, like when the iPhones started getting better, and like you realize like, oh, you can do like cinematography work with an iPhone camera. Like this, like literally, this is what we use to record all of our videos.
You have no idea how many times I've sat down just thinking like, what could I film in my backyard and like publish it, get it out, get it somewhere, right? Because like you have a camera, a good camera that you can, you know, I mean, movies have been made with iPhones.
Yeah.
So 28 years later.
I was gonna say, literally 28 years later, it was filmed almost. Was it like literally only on iPhone?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Yeah.
I mean, you know, if I was in production, I mean, I might be able to call something out, but I have to go by their word.
I've seen like behind the scenes photos. They have like all those weird rigs and like kind of that 360 setup around like one of the characters' heads. And
That's what I was about to say. I've seen some of the stuff, like some of the in the wood shots.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So you guys get the phones going, and all of a sudden you get the equipment, and now it's
and then it was balls to the wall after that. 'Cause
yeah.
there's so many places around here that have their own little hidden stories and legends and whatnot. Like the New York Cemetery and Mouse Cemetery, like all of that good stuff, 100% lives in its own right.
Yeah, I think so I was going through you guys', I don't want to be a jackass. I didn't get a chance to catch an episode, but I was going through you guys' catalog because I wanted to listen to one of them. And it is fascinating, like, from word of mouth, like when you talk to anyone in surrounding communities, right? They might have a story here and there. I guess I'm not really privy to it, but it's always fun to hear about, like, there's so many areas that you could probably go. Like, I know there's like M44 or something like that. It's got a field that say you can see the UFOs.
We see UFOs almost like consistently every single time we go out.
Really?
Yeah. Like when we were going and investigating, probably the last time in Indiana would have been a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were just standing there and we looked up because no light pollution. Like we were in the middle of a cemetery and you kind of just like looked up and you go, oh, that doesn't look like a satellite. And then it hits like a jackknife.
Yeah.
And then it slows down and then it speeds up and it's just gone. And you go, oh, no.
Yeah, that was something different.
That can't be what I thought it was. But yeah, we see that stuff all the time, but we're always out until like 3, 4 in the morning.
I was about to say, it's got to come with the territory, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a great segue into what I wanted to bring up next, which was involving a more local piece of interest when it came to like paranormal investigations and looking into things. Pierre Chenet.
Yes.
Which you sent me an early version of the documentary that you had a big part in. It's not like solely yours. It involves like a lot of local paranormal entertainers and figures and things like that. But I mean, you and Riley are featured very predominantly throughout it. And, I have to say, I was very impressed with it. Like, even the version that you showed me, which I'm assuming wasn't the final version, it like stood a lot on its own in terms of just like the editing work. Like you guys had so much footage. You guys were coming at it from like all sorts of different angles. I really liked the kind of narrative framework of the town itself and like how you guys sort of like worked into that. So talk a little bit about like the conception of that, like the idea of being a part of this larger thing. I'm sure was exciting for you and Riley, and like being able to like look into this town's history, not even just like talking about the paranormal side of it, but just like, yeah, this is a part of, the world that like many people don't know or have forgotten. And so like having the feeling of like bringing that to many different eyes and people's attention must feel pretty good, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's nothing more than that I love personally than finding history and then bringing it back to life. Because Pierre Chenet, or Chenet, however you say that, 100% to me is like one of those herrings where everybody talks about it, but nobody knows what the real history is. Because
where's this at too? By the way,
it's like Grayling, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
So like I would say like 3.5 hours, like from here right now, like
north,
north.
right?
Yep. And it's just one of those places just tucked away in the woods. There's nothing to it anymore, but the legends itself that live on, and the people at the Historical Society in Grayling do a masterful job of like still like keeping what little history there is like alive and well. And what we got to do was basically, like unearth like new truths about this exact place too, because there was a relic in the past that was just living in Grayling and on some lady's property that was a original like house that was from Pierre Chenet.
Yeah.
That was moved one day from like an Amish community onto her land, and they used it to like farm part of her land for a long time. And like while we were just walking around after an investigation in the Historical Society, Dawn, the lady that let us go in there, and she's one of the workers there, she literally was like, oh, by the way, I got a phone call the other day, and yeah, there's a house if you guys want to go check it out. She said 100%. And it just so happened that we had drove past it every single.
Yeah. Totally unassuming.
Yeah, the most unassuming.
Yeah. I So like when I was younger, I was really into it, and I still have my beliefs and stuff around that. But my dad and my son are both really into that stuff. So every once in a while I get to check it out, and it still fascinates me with like what happens, and you can't really necessarily deem it coincidence.
Right.
At the same time, it's like for me, it's where's the explanation, but like you don't have one. So it's always fun to think about, and those conversations and the experiences that you have, like it's super fun. I mean, I would imagine
that's where me and Riley live. Like, is the paranormal theory, and then like, I think that's what drives us the most is trying to understand the unobtainable is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because nobody's an expert. Everybody is an amateur expert, if you ask me. Like, there's no way that anybody can come at me and be like, hey, this is exactly what's going on.
Right.
It's like, there's no...
Like, if we got, like, a bunch of you guys in a room, everyone would be arguing with each other, right?
In a certain way where it's like everybody understands that it's like everybody has their own way of doing it.
It's almost like if someone comes up to you and says, like, I have the absolute truth about this nebulous concept, you, like... raising my eyebrow at you a little bit.
If you can prove it, 100%, I will believe it. But it's like demons for me, where it's like I just don't live on that fence of like demons are real. Yeah. Because everybody goes to these places and they're like, I'm so scared of the demons in here and it's coming from my butt and like, oh my god. And then we go in there and it's like, dude, this is inviting. Like I walked around here all night by myself.
Yeah,
it was fine.
It's a whole nother level of just. I can't do. I bet if I went with you guys, you'd have 20 minutes, and then I'd pab out. I'd be like, I'm good.
On the first like loud knock on a wall or something.
Oh yeah.
I'm out.
I was out camping out in like Ludington. It's a little further north of Ludington, and like you said, no light pollution, so you see everything. And me and my buddy were like, let's go walk in the woods, and I'm like, I'm only going this far, and I heard a tree branch and. Out I was done. I was like,
rock star.
Yeah, I love it though. I mean, it's stuff like that really it thrills me.
Yeah, I live for the adrenaline. That's why I love it.
Yeah, and you guys get to see so much and so many different experiences too. I bet it's not. It can't all be the same, right?
No, and like we're big history buffs ourselves too. Because I grew up just absolutely adoring history. So like for us. Every time we get to walk into what feels like a time capsule, it's like I can't believe that this is just encapsulated where it is in the middle of a town that just is like modernized too, and you just kind of have to blink and like pinch yourself, and you're like, this is like a 100-year-old building, and it's talking to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you more specifically about your sort of movie taste growing up and like kind of how that shaped maybe how you view approaching subjects of ghosts, aliens. What are some of the movies that kind of like not altered your perception of that, but just sort of like, oh yeah, I could see how like this might be something that could apply to what we do on What Goes Bump in the Night. Like, right. I'm assuming you had like a decent treasure trove of movies that were like, hell yeah, this is like the quintessential ghost movie. This is the quintessential alien movie. Like, what comes to your mind when when you think about that sort of thing?
It's not going to be like the normal answer.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Okay.
Really?
I was a massive, like all the Japanese, like all the Godzilla.
Did you watch the like claymation ones? Because that's what I grew up with. Nice. That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
That was my big one. And I would always go to Blockbuster because we lived right up the road where my parents lived.
Yeah.
So we would be able to rent whatever we wanted because they'd have the passes and stuff. So I would always just walk around and grab whatever I could.
This is like 7-8-year-old Trevor. Okay.
100%. Because I could get on my bike and my parents were just like, be safe.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly how it went back. Quick side tangent.
Yeah.
I got Preston up here. He's my son. So Preston's 9. And it's nothing movie related, but it made me think of the times he went out. He's on his electric scooter. He left at 3:30. Well, I'm getting ready to. I had to do a couple things before I came here, so it's like 5 o'clock. I'm like, well, where's my freaking kid?
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah. And he's got a buddy when he's up here that he goes over. So I drove by the house, electric scooters out, bike helmets out. You can see the whole house is open, right? Like it doesn't look like anything going on. A couple scooters out there too. And I was like, oh, he's just hanging out. It's like he's doing what I was doing. I was like, God, it's so weird because like when I was his age, if I got on my bike, it was like be home before dark.
Oh yeah.
Right? And like whatever happens. You'll be okay. Like that's you saying like, yeah, just go to Blockbuster. I know it's probably 15 minutes on the bike. You'll make it back. It's okay. You know?
No big deal.
Yeah.
They'd also be like, hey, go get me cigarettes from Wesco. So like it was a different time.
It was, I mean, completely different. It was literally just hop on your bike and off you go, you know? And you didn't have phones. You had nothing. Like you had to send a carrier pigeon to let your parents know where you were at.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, that's so you had Godzilla, you had the claymation, there's a whole crap. I don't know. Do you have any streaming device or platforms that you have? HBO Max, or do you watch like Netflix?
I have like most of them. I think the only one I don't have is HBO Max.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of funny. It's ironic.
But I do the like.
Yeah.
Another thing that you're not supposed to online.
Yard, matey, sail in the high seas.
Well, HBO Max has like all of the old Godzilla stuff. So I go through those. I go through the catalog, you know, and every time I get to them, I'm always like, I really want to watch these, but I just don't know if they'll hold up to what I remember as being a kid, because they were like, it was like revolutionary, you know, like seeing Godzilla destroy a town, and now I'm like, I'm concerned I'd recognize it's cardboard, you know?
Exactly. I mean, it still does it for me. Like I think it's the shitty like dubs too that like really do it for me. That like, oh yeah, this is my child.
There's a charm to it that you can never like completely wash out.
No way.
Yeah,
and it's the nostalgia for me that really does it.
That's 100%. I guess it's always my concern when I'm like, I want to revisit something I liked as a kid, because like if you watch it again, this is my concern. Is like I'm not feeling it. Like, oh no, was I robbed of something? Like I have like 9 Godzilla movies in my head right now, and all of a sudden, second viewing, it's just wash. But
oh yeah, I have all the posters in my house still.
Oh yeah,
like, I'm not even joking.
There's so many.
My whole like those size posters. My entire living room is Godzilla posters.
Now, is it in Japanese?
Yep.
Do you have
all Japanese?
Nice. That's sick. Very
I also
retro.
was like a really, really big Toonami fan growing up.
Okay,
so, like,
Cartoon Network?
Yep.
Okay.
So like I lived on anime. So like when I finally realized that you could go to Blockbuster as well and just grab like seasons. I started doing that, like Dragon Ball Z, like all that.
My world ended when the Frieza saga ended. They got into Majin Buu, and then like they didn't sign the lease or something like that. So they just stopped playing it.
Yep.
And they went back to like whatever saga it is where it's like young Goku. And I was like,
I fell right off.
You know, and then we didn't have like I didn't go into Blockbuster searching for that stuff. It probably wasn't there, but I never.
But that's more or less when I started finding like all the the non-new, but like what would it like irreversibly be my like trajectory into like now never ever turning away from only watching anime.
Oh really? Well, it's what you grew up with, right?
Right, because like that's when I found Naruto, and like Naruto's 1,000 episodes long. One Piece is also right up in there. And then,
I won't lie, this is all going above my head.
Oh, I know. And then like
we're not. Mac and I are very anime. Just blind when it comes to
you're more so than me.
Probably.
Like I guess some of the movies then that I really enjoyed growing up were the Studio Ghibli ones.
Yeah.
So like Grave of the Butterflies, I remember like being super
Grave
emotional.
of the Fireflies.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I said butterflies.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
I want
Sequel
it to be
coming out.
happy.
That would be,
I want it to be happy.
Oh my god. That thing ripped out. I haven't cried in a movie in a while, and I watched that one.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
bawling, and I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, I blubbered, and I was like, I can't believe it, man. I didn't think movies would do this to me.
Yeah, they got a couple Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle. I just watched My Neighbor Totoro again.
Princess
with Megan.
Mononoke is my favorite.
That's okay.
That I switched between that one and Boy and the Heron quite a bit.
Boy and the Heron is really good too.
That one just came out too, right?
Yeah, that's the most recent one. He spent like 8 years working on that thing.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. Like the artwork and like the master class, like the studio class. Like what do you call it? The
artwork or
the animation?
No, the sound, like the sound.
Oh,
that they do.
yeah.
The score. That's what it is.
Beautiful movie.
I wanted to use the real word.
That's all right.
Listen, we are the least
this
bit
is a
official.
crossover app, all right? You don't have to be official. It's just like us talking about, ghost hunting and stuff. We're not gonna.
We can be as loose as we want. I do want to ask you though. So you talked about Godzilla being a big kind of early sort of like supernatural film that you gravitated towards. What were some things that like genuinely got a scare from you when you were a kid? Like maybe a movie you saw that you were too young, or one that like lingered with you, made you stay up at night that was like, damn, I'm fucking terrified by this.
So Signs.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Signs
That's a big
was
one for a
one.
lot of people.
Well, now it starts.
It was that jarring scene when he walks across, like when the alien walks across.
That scene
the TV.
got you?
Yeah.
The camera?
Yeah, like when he's on the.
It gets a lot of people mad.
I don't know why, but it was so visceral.
Yeah.
That I was just like, oh God.
And it's like it's so well done that it feels real, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like one of those, which. Talk about Disclosure Day, but like the bug-eyed, it's like, right? Like it is because the scene in that movie that always gets me is the knife scene.
Yeah, that's also believable as shit.
Yeah,
that's what really, really did it for me.
Yeah,
that movie does best when you don't really get to see much of the aliens at all.
They do a good job of kind of high. It's like
it's the thriller,
right? Yeah,
you get a thrill from like the feeling of it coming,
and you get in your head, you're doing your own mental makeup of what you're about to see, right? So you're kind of it produces anxiety.
Yeah,
right, a little bit.
Which another movie today that I think did a masterclass in that.
Yeah,
one of those two did a good job.
Well,
that's a hot take I'll throw out there.
I'm excited to get into it. I'm really excited to talk about it.
I still go back and watch
Signs.
it.
Think it was my favorite M. Night movie for the longest time, but that was before I watched The Sixth Sense.
Trap? Oh, Sixth Sense.
Trap. I like that movie. I defend that movie. That is not my favorite M. Night by
it's a good
portion.
Bad movie. Well, it's a tasty bad movie.
It's a schlocky, stupid, fun time.
Yeah. What's the Shyamalan movie where they're stuck on the beach and they can't?
Old?
Yeah, Old. I was gonna say that one was interesting.
That is lower on my list.
Threw that on with my wife and we were watching it, and I was like, I'm confused for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, agreed.
Right?
Like, I agree with all of that.
Yeah,
I didn't have an issue too much with like some of the ambiguity of what was happening to them. It's just like the acting and the situations that played out were so fucking silly.
Yes. Yeah.
That I couldn't take it seriously.
That's what I'm saying. Confused for all the wrong reasons. Like it's stuff that you really shouldn't be hanging on to. It's like, why is that piece of fruit right there? And all of a sudden the movie's tainted because of it. But it was like that happened every 90 seconds in that thing.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
Yeah. That's where I literally I just looked at her. I was like, I can't. I don't know if you want to finish this thing. It's like I'm done. I don't.
At that point, I was like, I don't know if I'm checked in or out. I really don't.
It's just on.
Yeah, it's
my eyes are just taking it in, but I'm not registering shit.
There's a certain point when you're watching a movie sometimes where like your eyes just kind of glaze over, and the movie just kind of happens in front of you. You're not really like watching it anymore.
No, it's almost a disassociation.
Yeah.
Literally, you're flying up and you're just seeing your body staring at a screen.
Disassociation Day is what we might call it later.
Disassociation Day. Oh, fuck.
We might all be on the same page with that one, the way I'm reading it.
I think we're going to be in the general ballpark of how we feel about that.
I've got a lot of hot takes for that boy.
But we can get into the film discussions. We are going to start with Backrooms, I think.
Okay.
So we also should mention that Riley was going to be on the show with Trevor.
Yes.
But Riley had something come up, so he couldn't join, unfortunately. But we got our boy here. We're going to make the most of it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun still. So
yeah, I'm excited.
We're going to talk about Backrooms. Film came out this past year. So we're doing a sort of different thing than what we normally do. Normally, either a guest comes in with a recommendation that they have, or we talk about a recommendation that you or I do. This is kind of one of the only times where we've discussed two brand new movies that have come out in theaters.
Probably. We'd have to go through the episode list, but I think there was another time too where we were kind of like both Barbie and Oppenheimer, maybe.
Barbie and Oppenheimer was, I think, the last time.
What a strong combo!
Oh my god, that weekend was an insane. And both those, I mean, it's kind of like Backrooms and Obsession right now. I mean, they're both knocking it out, staying in theaters, making a shit ton of money.
Some people are calling it back sessions. Like it's crazy.
Wow. Okay. I haven't seen Obsession yet.
That's the term. I don't know. I can't control it.
Yeah,
I don't.
These
trademark that.
Kyle. Wild.
Let's get that on a shirt.
Okay, sure. Would you wear it?
I would.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, I would.
Back sessions. It's just
With the neon though too.
It's just
hell
right?
yeah.
It's just the pirate from this movie with just a caked up ass, just like juiced to the nines.
He's got to be holding a ice cream cone with it melting or something too. Like we really got to make sure the point gets across.
Yeah, exactly. So this film that we're going to be discussing is Backrooms. It's a 2026 American science fiction psychological horror film. I love it when Wikipedia includes a plethora of adjectives for the film that we're discussing. This is based on the Backrooms creepypasta, which has sort of evolved over time, this like fascination with liminal spaces in the online community and like people's sort of love of that. When it culminated into Kane Parsons in 2022 making this video titled Backrooms Found Footage, and it got, I think it's around like 80 million views right now.
Yeah.
It's an insane number of attention. This led to him making the web series, and that led to him getting a deal with A24 to make this film. So this is a film that stars Chiwetel Ejiofor as Clark, a furniture store owner and failed architect who, he attends therapy to try and get over his marital issues and his anger issues. His brain is just wired a certain way that makes him feel lonely all the time. His therapist is played by Renate Reinsve, Dr. Mary Klein, who does her best to try and get, her patient through this, but she also has her own past that sort of complicates things. But one day, Clark is spending time in the basement of his furniture store when he sees that there's a crack in the wall. There's like something going on. What is this? There's something slightly off from what it should be. And he goes to investigate it, and he finds himself in the Backrooms. And from there, him investigating the space leads to certain breakdown in the story, certain breakdown in Clark's mental state. And of course, Mary herself gets pulled in as well. So spoiler alert for the Backrooms, we'll be discussing this film extensively. So this was one that I think Riley kind of threw out, right? When, we decided that you guys were going to be on, we needed another movie to pair with Disclosure Day. And I think you said, oh yeah, Riley's interested in seeing the new Backrooms A24 movie.
Riley, your thoughts? No.
Honestly, he and I both agreed that it looked really good, but I hadn't really like dove as deep into the lore of the Backrooms as much as he had. And he was like, liminal spaces are fucking wild.
I think I'm with Riley in that I am very fascinated by them, and they are very much my type of thing.
Yes. Yeah, I 100% didn't know I needed it, and now I need it.
Yeah, that seems right up your alley.
100%.
It seems to be drawing you in, but you can't exactly specify why. It's almost like it's the Backrooms themselves calling you to the hallways, the fluorescent lights, the yellow wallpaper.
Well, would you intake?
I don't know.
I would 100% go in.
I would 100% go in.
Oh, so like, so you do the thing where you kind of morph in there, you come back out.
I wouldn't even I would just dive straight in.
You would just step through, and you're like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, I'd be like, hold my drink. I'm going right through.
I don't know. I was trying to save myself from thinking about that as the movie was going on, because I was like, I want to stay engrossed in this, and I was trying to figure out like, how far do I go into this? I don't really know. I'm not knowing myself, probably not that far.
So I will ask you guys: have either of you seen the YouTube series that Kane Parsons posted over the course of the last 4 years?
You sent it to me, and I've been hearing so much about the stuff, and I really wanted to check it out. And then
it's deep,
man. Well, yeah, I've heard a lot about it, and deep in like a psychological sense, or deep in the storytelling, because like
it sets up a lot. So like, yes, there's more. So like, what we don't understand about the movie is like what necessarily is going on in the Backrooms, because it doesn't. I wouldn't say like this movie does a good job of giving information very easily. I think you have to definitely do a lot of your due diligence at this point.
This movie's more of like a personal account of specific characters, whereas like a lot of the videos on the web series has to do with like the corporation that's involved with it, and like some of the key figures. A lot more lore if you want to like dig into that sort of stuff. But there's also a lot of like really cool videos that Kane Parsons made at a young. I mean, there's
He
sort
did
of
it in Blender too.
He did it all in Blender. There's sort of a meme going around now where it's like Kane Parsons is 20 years old. He's the youngest person ever, and
Children and men.
well, it's a product I think of like sort of COVID lockdown where I looked into his life a little bit. He grew up the son of a video game developer, and his mother was a therapist. We can kind of extrapolate from that a little bit more later if we want to, but during COVID lockdown, he taught himself Blender, and he created this environment based on this creepypasta that was posted anonymously on 4chan, where it like created this whole like liminal space Backrooms mythos, and he used that setting to sort of create this idea of like a found footage horror short, where he made this environment in a computer software, and he ran it through a VHS, so it gave it that kind of like old feeling look, but it also made it look very realistic. Like at certain points you could like show portions of any of those videos to a random stranger and they would believe it was real.
Yeah,
like
you would have thought it was
set.
a VHS recorded like like old style camcorder.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, I could for sure say. I mean, when the film opens up with that kind of
100%.
that feel, right? And it's like, all right, we're not in the present time, but like this feels. I mean, it feels pretty.
It's
organic.
modern enough.
Yeah. So, and real quick too, because liminal gets thrown around, the liminal space, liminal storytelling. Give me a little bit more on that, just the premise behind that. Because Skinamarink,
it's
talked about.
Skinamarink is a very good example because it taps into the idea of this kind of like shared specificity, like a feeling that you are sensing that's being evoked from like seeing an image or a video of a place that you feel like you've been to before. So like an abandoned playground, for example, or like just this kind of green empty field with like one cloud in the sky and like this house in the middle of nowhere, where like, okay, I maybe have like been to a place like this before or have like seen it in my dreams. Like, these large bathrooms, pool rooms. I think that's like in the movie a little bit. Yeah. Like long stretches of hallways in like hotel rooms with like this weird ass carpet. Like, This sense of environment that's like, okay, clearly this is supposed to be man made, but like nobody's here. It like gives an eeriness to the environment that I'm in, and it's just like. It's sort of the thing that I think horror movies have kind of had for a long time. It's just we've never had like such a focus
into it.
We've never had such a focus on like this as an anchor point for a story or for a horror film. Because you watch a movie like Halloween or The Shining, and it's like these movies are liminal as fuck. But that's not the entire focus of it. That's just sort of like the dressing that's over the tapestry of the movie. The focus is on like either this monster figure or like this paranormal thing that's happening.
Right, where this is more of the central focus. So like, wow, it's more of a character than it is of an environment.
Yeah.
Right.
The idea that like this is a place that is like, there's something going on that I can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah. Good. I just wanted to get that because I'm seeing this and that word keeps getting thrown around to me, and I'm like, I feel like I understand it, but I don't know exactly what I understand.
And like some liminal spaces too will be like it'll be some place that you recognize but tweaked ever so slightly to make it so like unsettling, or like places that should be filled really, really like like all the time, like a playground or something, like you said. But it's not in the middle of the day type shit, or like a whole city is just empty. That would give that ominous feeling that liminal space does.
One of the examples was like an empty mall. Yeah. Like the Blake's Mall.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
Which, like, funny enough, Kane Parsons has another series of videos on his channel called The Oldest View, which specifically taps into, hey, I found this mall that's not supposed to be here. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that would be, there you go. Okay, so I get the creepiness.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm assuming you've seen the videos, Trevor, on his. Have you seen them all, or just like a few
spatterings? I haven't seen every single one, but I started diving into it a while ago. But like it was one of those things for me where I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And then I'd watch a couple and I'd be like, this is cool. And then I just, not watch for a while, and then I just move on to something else. Yeah. Like squirrel brain, whatever. And then doom scroll for a while.
Well, it's funny that I think this movie has a lot there's a lot that we can get into. It is funny to me how this movie has just totally blown up like
big time,
just kind of like it's A24's highest grossing movie. It is really resonating with Generation Z, which is a group of young people that we often attribute to having like short attention spans and like the idea of like, oh, they need TikTok every 5 minutes or else their penis is going to explode. And then you take this movie and it's like, okay, this is like a pretty conventional kind of slow burn horror film that's like well done.
Down compared to what you would like consider most horror films to be.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's funny that I'm like hearing this and I'm like, wow, this is this generation's meditation. Like you have my attention. It is. There's a couple things that are tweaked here and there, and you're just gonna walk around 2 hours being freaked out, like, okay.
And I'm excited to get into like the more specific details of this movie, but overall, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a perfect movie. Right. I think that there's things about it that you kind of hold it back from being like, totally great.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where like I'm just glad that it exists. Yeah. I'm absolutely going to pick it up when it comes out on physical media because that's my type of shit.
Hell yeah.
I like this sort of stuff. It's my bread and butter a bit. And I don't know. I guess I'm just like thoroughly impressed with this narrative that they've constructed where like, yeah, we've just taken this young guy who like, was a scrappy YouTube narrative storyteller and just like, yeah, we brought him in and now he's got all these opportunities coming this way. I've seen plenty of interviews with Kane Parsons. He speaks eloquently. He's like a well-spoken young man. I don't know. To me, it's just like the product of it being in this world that we live in is, I think, a good thing. Like it's just nothing but like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this opens more doors. Yeah, it's a fun experience. I like these types of movies. I mean, this is like, we kind of talked about like, so psychological thriller, like a horror thriller. Like I kind of think of like it pales in comparison to like an Uncut Gems or a Shiva Baby, right?
Yeah.
We've kind of talked about where they intentionally do that to you, where this feels like kind of walking you through your anxiety a little bit. So it was really fun being in that theater. The one thing that I'm sure I'll keep bringing up that I've really bumped up against with, but I'm actually having fun anecdotes with, is just the story itself.
Yeah.
I really wish that they didn't have to make this as much of a narrative as they did.
It is. I think that I agree with you in the most part in that like these sort of more conventional narrative elements of this movie don't quite match up to the experience I have when watching like the found footage portions or like, the exploration of the environment. I don't think it was like bad necessarily, but like there is a point, especially when you get to like the third act of the film, once they're at the dinner table, where I'm thinking to myself, little long in the tooth.
Man, they're pounding us over the head.
For a movie that like, front loads this idea of exploration, like we don't know what's around the corner. They spend an awful lot of time in the same place in that scene.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I don't know if that specific one is enough to drag it down entirely for me, but it is something on my second rewatch that I thought about where I was like, am I going to like this more? Is this going to like go over a little bit better for me? And then it played and I'm like, I feel kind of the exact same way I did the first time.
What do you got, Trevor? Like
my exact thoughts were they needed to explore the Backrooms.
Yeah,
because there's so much to it where they have like different terrariums basically in the ethos that is the Backrooms, and the only time that you really get to see it is one fucking scene where you look down and it's like now you see that it is ever so fucking endless.
Yeah.
So like maybe we should have used some of that.
It's funny, but like a couple more of the scenes where he he goes down there with this crew, right? And then the shit happens, and all of a sudden he's starting going through all these different environments within there, and like you said, it's uneasy. It's not. It's like, boy, that's kind of familiar, kind of not. Like the Christmas tree just sitting there, but it's half up, and then But I'm like, I wish we had a lot more of this going on, and this guy trying to figure out how to get out of here, as opposed to like, I mean, in that sense, he kind of is, but like, all of a sudden, it's an escape, right? It's not a discovery, you know. Like, if turning those corners more and just seeing more of that world would have been a lot more creepy.
I have an idea, and I want to pose it to you guys. I don't know if it's like too early in the discussion to bring this up, but
you won't know until you.
I don't want to lose the thought while it's in my head.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I had this thought. after watching it the second time.
After watching it the 5th time, I started brainstorming.
After watching it the 7th time, I was like, you know what? I think I do like this movie.
Maybe I do.
Maybe I'll give it another chance. Give it more money. No, so like the thing that I think draws me into this environment and a lot of people into this environment is the idea of like storytelling through exploration. Like kind of understanding or trying to understand this world through the literal lens of the point of view of someone going through it. And I had the thought of, what if once Mary enters the back rooms and she's sort of like kidnapped by Clark and like tied up, what if the idea is he sort of like forces her to be attached to the camcorder, like ties it to her, something like that, makes her carry it, so that he uses her to explore more of the environment. And then like you can have the confrontation still of like, yeah, like there's something broken inside of him. He's like a lonely man who only causes his own destruction. You can have like all that shit still in there, like, but through maybe that point of view of like, yeah, we're still like kind of in this found footage style.
Yeah,
exactly.
And to me, it would have made more sense in terms of like, yeah, just like the general thing that people want out of this movie, but also it would have, to me, made the introduction of Pirate Clark, and we can talk more about that, a little bit more scary and effective.
Yeah.
Because
it was silly.
It was
a little silly.
It's a little silly. I found
I don't
him.
know if it had the punch it wanted, right?
Yeah, it was like unsettling the first time you see it because you're like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" Like it's
but by the 12th time, we kind of know what's coming around the corner.
Well,
yeah.
The dinner scene with the people sitting there is more unsettling.
Yeah.
If you ask me, normal sized people with fucked up faces like that are way more unsettling than a giant like pirate boy.
I just, they had something going, and then it was like, you know what, just in case like the storytelling or the script isn't getting its point across, we're gonna now explain all of it. And that's where I was like, man, they were so close to having this on, and then they just dived more into exposition, and I was like, wrong. Don't give me that. Give me more of the, we have no idea what's going on, and he is just inventing as he goes.
Introduce more things that like maybe answers like a couple questions, but raises like 5 more.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, my interest in this just keeps building and building, because like by that point, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to see something different.
Yes.
And not because like, my attention span's so fucked now, right? But just the idea of like, this movie had like a certain momentum that I was like really gelled into, and then it just kind of hits a wall.
Yeah.
For 100%. Lack of a better term, hits a wall in the back rooms that I can't go through anymore.
You're out.
I'm out.
Yeah, you're back in the basement.
I'm back in the basement. But I am glad this movie exists. There are a lot of parts of it that I really enjoy, that I think, oh wow, this is like fucking great. This makes it like a legitimate movie, The performances from Chiwetel, Renate.
I liked him too. I thought he was great.
It's one of those things where, so Kane Parsons' videos don't have a ton in the way of like writing. They're very experiential.
He brought on a second screenwriter for this, right? To help him punch it up a little bit.
Because he's never written dialogue to this extent before.
Yeah, and he's only 20, dude. He doesn't even know what a pen is.
Yeah, I know. He was just birthed yesterday. But it is one of those things where I'm watching where I can tell, like, if these guys weren't such the talented professional actors that they are, I don't know how much of this is being registered.
Would this carry the same weight?
Right.
Yeah, I thought Chiwetel was great. I thought
he's fantastic.
His emotionality and all of this, the way he plays, kind of a sad sack, and it's not. Yeah, I was
very raw.
I'm like, why? I was actually watching this, and I'm like, do I not see him anymore in movies? Because like this is fantastic.
Bad.
He's kind of been sucked up into the Marvel industrial complex the last couple years, because he's been in the Doctor Strange movies, and then he's also in Venom 3, a movie that.
No, that's not good.
Right. I have that same reaction when I think about that film. But he's a great actor. I mean, 12 Years a Slave, I just watched that for the first time recently. Like, he's phenomenal in it.
So I saw Backrooms, and then for whatever reason I put on the Denzel Washington American Gangster.
Okay. I've not seen that film.
I also had on Inside Man. So I came. That's with it's Spike Lee and Clive Owen, Denzel.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's in, and I was like, man, it's just a Chiwetel weekend. Like I didn't even plan on this. He's just in both these movies.
It just so happened his face just kept appearing.
Yeah, appearing.
I mean, he's a great choice if you're wanting someone to like kind of embody that like sort of building desperation of like this guy's like kind of getting the threads pulled out from him.
It's the vein.
Oh my
it's
God!
the head vein.
The head vein.
100% is
the head vein's doing like 20% of the work.
He hits a button, it pops. That's when he gets this. Because I really liked it when he just flips the script so easily. Like he's being very open to the therapist, right? He's like, I'm kind of insane, but I got to talk to you about this thing, you know. And then all of a sudden, she's looking at him. She's like, do you plan on hurting yourself? And then he just flips. You know, I knew you wouldn't fucking trust this. I knew, you know. And I was like, man, that guy's got some range.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and not to lose it either. Like in that moment, like you usually will see it in somebody's eyes where they're like, okay, now.
Right. No, he just it was so impressive the way he was able to kind of bounce between God, you know, like my life is just on the fritz. I had no purpose to the genuine curiosity and discovery, you know, to being like, I think I got something that's worth meaning right now or purpose.
And you could easily see a worse actor in the same scenario oversell the emotions of any given scene.
Yeah.
You like try to imagine Sean Penn doing the same sort of thing where it's like you're putting like way too much mustard on this. I know. Is that my daughter in the Backrooms? Where like Chiwetel offers a lot of balance between like choosing when to kind of like lose it and like to try and
when to bring it
back in. And Renate, I think, is like sort of like the perfect, almost like not inverse, but just like they do a different thing where like they start her off. She's very subtle, very quiet,
extremely
in her own little world, dealing with like her own traumatic experience with flashbacks and like these bad dreams. And then as the movie ramps up more and more, you just kind of like start to see that let loose.
Yeah.
And she just really gets to blow up. You know, we've seen her in movies like, you know, Sentimental Value, where it's like, oh yeah, there's like a quiet sadness to her this whole time. And like, you know, this, I haven't seen her in any other movie, but this is the first time I've seen her where it's like, oh, cool, you get to like be pissed off and like yell at someone.
Well, she does that deadpan stare so good.
Yeah.
Something with her face too. I don't know.
She's got a great face card
or something.
I saw this movie with my buddy Adam. You know Adam.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, like her face, just like when it's still, is like such a perfect picture.
It's like a pond that there's no ripple. You know, you can kind of see the reflections in it.
Exactly. That's what I mean by the deadpan stare. Where it's like it's like the hollowness, but like it's not.
There's the eyes. There's like I know there's something in there, but like I feel like I'm looking at a mirror right now. Yeah. No, she was really good, and she gets to flex her wings just a little bit. And also Kane Parsons, fantastic. I thought the cinematography and some of these shots.
This movie looks incredible,
good. Doesn't it? Like that was like one of the things I was so impressed with. Like when I'm thinking about it, because like I know Mark Duplass had to stick up for the kid, right? Yeah. Because people were like, "There's no way this kid
everybody
directed
was
it."
Dogging the poor kid.
Yeah.
This stupid ass internet rumor started to spread.
Yeah.
Out of the sense of like jealousy and insecurity.
Oh, it is 100%.
That's someone that.
Come on.
Oh yeah, Matt can't believe it.
No,
I'm not buying it. What? The internet being jealous about something?
It's pure truth. I know what fucking talking about.
Yeah.
Where like people were spreading this idea that like, oh, because he's so young and inexperienced on like an actual movie set, like he had to have like these ghost directors like Osgood Perkins or like Mark Duplass or fucking
is that what they were saying?
Jason Blum come on and
my God,
guide him in doing all this stuff. And Mark Duplass had to go online and be like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. He was like actually putting in the work. He was like behind the camera all the time, just like his creative vision was boisterous throughout. And I've watched interviews with Kane Parsons. Like I've seen him talk, I've seen him compose himself and like touch on what inspires him, and I'm excited to get into what inspires him because I think there's a lot to that. But it's very clear that like, yeah, this kid knows what he's doing. Like he has such a clear vision of like where he wants this movie to be and like what he wants to look like, and also pretty much has like a singular voice in that 22 video long web series.
Yeah.
That like if you amass the total time, it's like 2 feature-length movies put together. Like
it's probably just because it's done so differently from what people had seen because this is pretty clean.
Oh, yeah, clean as shit.
But like it's probably so different from like what you've seen on the internet, and I hate to say it, but sometimes like even like when you do something where it's kind of that grainy camcorder 1990s feel, right? People just go like, oh, it's a filter, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
just
throwaway.
Yeah, like, it's not artistic as
That's AI fluff.
yeah, right. Like that's what I'm saying. So some of the time, like when you see that stark contrast between the two, like some people, I could see why coming out of this, someone would be like, nah, he didn't do it.
Right. And obviously, like, A24 did give him, like, resources and, like, I'm sure they, like, mentored him. I'm sure they, like,
gave him everything that he could need.
Had a hand in, like, hey, this is, like, maybe how you, because, like, you haven't worked with actors before or, like, professional actors necessarily or, like,
That's what I was kind of curious about is, like, how was he on set with these guys or if there was...
Right. Were
they,
like, beating him up or was he beating him up?
That's what,
You got, I mean, seeing like the cast interviews with them, you can tell like, oh yeah, they just gel well together. But you do have to wonder what those first meetings were like with these awkward. Academy Award winning actors meeting with this
20-year-old
this
fresh boy,
this 20-year-old fresh faced Gen Z TikTok boy, who is telling them, hey, I need you to look this way during a scene.
Yeah, well, and like the weight too that he must have felt the entire time.
Yeah,
like I would wonder if it's like if that pressure would have got to him, like would it have been different? Because it in its own right, like I think he definitely nailed every aspect of what he wanted to put forth.
I don't think that he left anything out there. Yeah. No, I think this is the movie he wanted to make. It feels very much so.
He very much was insistent on like, I have to make a movie that doesn't break the continuity of what I've set up on YouTube. And I also want it to function as like a standalone thing. And I think he accomplished just that. For the most part. I mean, there's things that we can get into, and we can ask the question of like how too anchored is this movie to like the web series that he's made.
I was gonna say the deep into the movie lore. Yeah. Like that's
you guys are gonna know about that. That's why I'm kind of curious because from everything I've heard, is this branched off a little bit. They kept some of the same, some of the continuity, but there was a little bit of a branch, and I was. Like I said, it's almost like I wish that instead of going from like a psychological route and having the therapist and all that. And by the way, I will get to my anecdote. I wish they would have brought more of like Mark Duplass's company in there and made this a little bit more.
That's where I was really hoping to.
Yeah. So I can touch on this a little bit. So based on a lot of the interviews that he's given and like talking about his inspirations and like what he would potentially want to do in the future, the game Portal has come up multiple times. This kid cannot stop bringing up Portal when it comes to like, what inspired this sort of idea of like this liminal space and like navigating this environment. And I'm assuming you guys have at least played Portal or like know what it is.
I love Portal.
Portal's a great game.
It doesn't feel very Backrooms though.
Well, here's the thing though.
In a sense, no, but yes.
The dimension bending, right?
Here's the thing though. If you like watching the web series and like kind of knowing that lore a bit, you understand perfectly why he uses Portal as such an inspiration, because Portal has a similar thing of like this facility is abandoned by this scientific company, Aperture Science, that was spearheaded by this singular figure who was obsessed with this idea of like, going to the moon and exploration and like sort of venturing out into the unknown and expanding the human experience and how that kind of just like crumbles because of this sense of like hubris or like, diving into waters that are deeper than you thought they were. And he's doing a very similar thing with the Backrooms when it comes to like the Async company and this figure at the end of it named Ivan Beck and like all this stuff that you can look into that's like, pretty indirect when it comes to like the series of videos themselves. Like you have to kind of infer a lot of it yourself. But it is a very similar thing. And he's talked about like, if I had another chance to make a movie, I would want to do a Portal movie. Which, like, to me,
this is like
the story inspirations make a ton of sense.
It does.
Wayland and Alien.
Yeah, Weyland-Yutani.
Yeah, where it's never like the sole focus, but it's always that like menacing figure in the background.
Yeah, there's this like third figure. There's the people involved, which are like Clark and Mary. There's the environment itself, the Backrooms, which you could essentially say is a character in of itself. And then there's this third party that's like behind the scenes of it all. That is like kind of like not like twiddling its fingers in evil, but just sort of like we're trying to pull the strings of this.
I wanted that
when we don't have total total control.
That though, like the Duplass character in all of this just felt like I'm an innocent scientist and we're just figuring things out.
See, I kind of like that we don't see a ton with them, though.
I know so much more about that lore, too, and it's so hard not to just, like, dump lore when you hear about it.
Well, you have to. That's what I'm hearing. I mean, I got to hear more about it, because the issue I have with this thing, I mean, it just feels so much like a metaphor for, your mind and all this shit, right? But, like, I'm like, if we stepped away from that and we brought async in, right, a little bit more, because I do like how they're behind it. I guess I just didn't like the Duplass character feeling so helpless in what he does.
Okay, I can help with that.
Okay.
So async itself isn't necessarily like an evil company.
Right.
What their end goal is necessarily is to like use the Backrooms as a storage place and to use it to like take people that are low income and
It's
give
for
them
like housing, right? Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So it's for a good cause, but because they continuously go in and fuck the Backrooms up, they're causing rifts that open doors that when people go in, now the Backrooms is remembering everything.
Yeah.
And it's seeing more and more, and now you have this endless loop of like good and bad pushing for the same end goal of like, well, I'm curious and I'm trying to help you.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, because in the movie they were an MRI. He explained it right, that they were MRI imagery.
They make MRI machines,
and they found this, and they were going to try to tap into it for I don't remember, whatever, to help out with the human mind, I guess, maybe to help out individuals. Like, I don't think they really got into what their end purpose was outside of we've just found it and we're still discovering it.
Yeah, from what I remember of the web series, Async as a company is more so just like our existence is like trying to like contain this thing or like understand it.
Yeah.
And the consequences that come from this thing existing present us with dilemmas that we now have to confront. Like there's a good chunk of the series that involves this group of like 4 hazmat scientists that go in and explore, and
which we saw a little bit in this,
kinda.
Right? Yeah,
kinda. I think that's a different person, but this one is specifically more just like what happens if one of them has like a time desync where like they go forward in time but they don't perceive it, and we've created this narrative like this guy has died and now he's come back, and we have to deal with that because his family still thinks he's dead. We've like had a whole funeral for him, and like
Chuck Nelson.
It presents the company a moral dilemma of like, well, now we have to approach this thing that like no person can even conceptualize even possibly happening.
Okay.
And that, to me, that's sort of like more or less what async is. It's just like this thing that exists to try to embody the sense of control without actually having it.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to explore this place. We're trying to control it. We're trying to fit it to what we need. With this idea of like, hey, we can like make a lot of money if we like use this for housing, and it's like you can't fucking do like. So
there's
have
a
you
little
seen this
corporate
place?
greed behind them, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what I got the sense with how Duplass was explaining. It was like we kind of have a treasure trove here. We just don't know how to open it, right?
Well,
like that was the feeling I got from
him.
him
Too is like the treasure trove was there, and like I think we did see a little bit of like the bacteria, which I know Kyle knows what I'm talking about 100%.
Okay,
so like the big bad that's in the Backrooms is what they call bacteria, and it's basically like a cleaner. Like it'll wipe any like
so we're a virus
organism.
going
Exactly.
in. It's a white blood cell figuring it out and getting you out.
So what happened when they fell down that chute with the bed and everything and the video camera? I thought they missed a very golden opportunity as well to like have him continue the camera through whatever took him, because that was not the pirate. I'm sorry.
No. I don't.
No way it was.
No.
And I know it, and I know that was the herring for like what's coming. Mm-hmm. But like it's like you had such a great opportunity to like flash more and like show more of the Backrooms.
Yeah.
Even if it was just like a quick like really quick flash through it.
No.
Yeah, I think the lack of the bacteria being involved is just purely this philosophy that Kane kind of constructed for himself of like, I'm going to try to make this function on its own, and if you introduce the bacteria to it, you kind of have to tie it into the web series a little bit more, and having Pirate Clark be sort of like the central monster that they're having to deal with
it works.
Is more just like, we're touching on like the personal psychology of a character that's in the movie, and it makes it a little bit more singular. At least that's the attempt, right?
Yeah, Yeah, what I'm hearing right now is that this guy should have been like, we're gonna leave this open for a sequel because like
I mean, the movie
I
made
think it is.
an assload of money. I would
it did
assume that it's happening,
but
in some way.
It's a weird because there's a shift now from the story, right? Because like it was very kind of personal, right? It really was Clark's POV and everything that was going on with him, and now we're gonna expand it. Like it'll be interesting because if that's why I really wish they would have, instead of making it solely about him, more about the Backrooms and have a little bit more of a conflict going on between Async, right?
Yeah.
Because now you can attach more into it and we can get some more discovery going. And this one feels just like this is going to be the only movie I make off this. We're going to leave it open-ended.
Well, I guess let me ask this question then. So, how do you think it ended? Like, do you like the ending? And I have a question that follows it. If like, no matter what it is.
So
I'm very neutral on it myself.
Okay.
Like, I didn't hate it, but it sort of just left me. I mean, it kind of did a positive thing in that it made me want to go back to the web series and like watch those videos again.
Yep.
Just to like, okay.
even though they're not that.
Well, there's sort of side tangent. I think the best video that he's made for his channel is Backrooms Found Footage 3, which is
I would agree with that actually.
It's a 45-minute long version of what his first video was. It's just this guy gets no clipped into the backrooms, can't find his way out. Exploration in like this environment is the point of the video.
Yeah.
And like coming across these like weird ass environments and like the different types of things that you can find in there. If like you have that itch still after watching the movie, which I kind of did, I went back and I watched that video.
Okay.
Just because I was like, damn, this is like sort of the perfect version of this that I would want to see, you know?
Yeah.
Also hearing this too, this makes it sound like it's like 3D Pac-Man. Kind of hearing the bacteria and
Kinda.
Little
It
bit.
sort of is Pac-Man. You know, if Pac-Man was like running away from
I'm saying like three,
some
like if you
abstract
had the
demon
walls in Pac-Man, and, and they got you ground level, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you could just hear the chopper coming. Like, I guess I walked out and I was so focused on the psychological side of all of it that with was it Mary? Was that her name? The way I left it out was that this was more of the version of the backroom imprinting or collecting that memory, and that she like there's still a possible story with her and Async that could continue on. I did see something else though, where someone thinks that she got stuck, or I don't know what.
So I think because like what you saw at the end of the movie is called a still life.
Yes.
And that is, at least from my understanding, and maybe Trevor, you can like extrapolate on it if I'm not getting all of it. But from my understanding, a still life is taking a moment in time for an object or a person.
Yep.
And sort of like creating the backroom, sort of like constructing and creating this version of them that only exists in that frame. So like Pirate Clark, you could maybe call a still life, but like the guy
fucked up version.
Right.
Mary at the end of the movie.
He's down there for so damn long.
Mary at the end of the movie is like, oh, this is like a still life of you in this moment of this like interrogation room, sort of like living this out in like the most simplest way possible.
Yeah.
Like Clark explains like the more that the Backrooms, this like they call it the complex in the web series.
Okay.
The more the complex tries to remember something, the less it does. And like this idea that we are taking the specific moments of memory and like we're blurring it so much.
Yes.
It's like the idea of like the more time goes on, the less you remember something as accurately as you think you did, right?
That's what
You're not retelling the memory, you're retelling the last version of the story you told before.
Right.
And so it's like, to me, like the physical manifestation of that with a person.
That's what I got. That's what I was assuming it was doing of her. Well,
Yes.
it wasn't her.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
But I think there was a big herring, like where I don't think they ever left the back rooms. I think what that facility was,
Because she's asking, where are we? And he won't answer.
and he won't
Right.
answer. And when he continuously looks away and looks away and looks away, I think that's setting up the next version of the back room.
Because I felt like he was being watched.
Yeah.
like that's what
I assumed he was like looking at people through like a looking glass.
Yeah.
Also, they say that Pirate Clark, like if he was a manifestation or one of those things and he doesn't feel pain.
Yep.
Well, when she beat his face and he was bleeding and he felt pain and he died. So
Whoa.
Did he die or did they knock him out?
I
Because
thought
he's
they-
still
I
like
don't-
reaching after her when she's like in the
I
narrow
thought
space.
someone got like strapped up. I was laughing because I was like, this feels like Jurassic
To
Park.
me, they had him tied up in like this, big wrap, and to me, that was like, oh, he's still like living, but
It
they're
could
like,
have been because I might have just mistook it because when he was on the table and they had all the MRIs, it looked like in like actual like body structure and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's that is very fascinating because maybe they set up shop and they figured out how to quarantine themselves within the back room, right? And they're still doing like there's experiments and studies.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like one of the specimens that they get to take. That's like, oh man, this thing's actually, it's not a still life now. This is actually like, I'm curious. I don't want to say bacteria, like you guys kind of mentioned, but like they're trying to figure more out about
Or like
it.
that, like how you have Clark and Pirate Clark in the same room.
Yeah.
It's almost like now that the Backrooms has seen her and she's gone, full, I guess psychosis mode is almost the best way to say it. Because like she basically breaks at the end of it.
yeah,
Yes.
And then the flip happens. But also like throughout the movie, there's other little like, I would call them Easter eggs where it's like her house, her mom.
Yeah.
I think her mom went to the Backrooms at one point because that's why she's so fucking crazy. Because
Interesting.
she seems so like absolutely like don't look outside, this and that. They're
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And then you wonder, well, who's out there? And then you think about Pirate Clark as they're walking through those houses, and then you see her house broken after it was demolished. And then you go, why is her house in the Backrooms?
So yeah, that was, I guess, one of the trickier elements I had because like the way that Mark Duplass kind of explains it is that like once a subject gets in, that's the conscious that it infiltrates and sucks out. So like while they were both down there, was it feuding? Is her conscious and her memory starting to take over from where he was at?
That's also a really good fucking analysis because that's true. Because if it were doing exactly what we would think it would be doing, that's both of them then.
That's what I was kind of that's what I'm saying. This movie, it's very intriguing and it's got a very rich idea. That's why I wish they didn't get into the psychology behind some of it, where it's like pulling in that, because now you've got these conflicting thoughts of like, all right, now what rules? Now they're obviously like probably very little rules, right? And I know that we're talking about
it's a pretty amorphous.
I was gonna
thing.
say it's a blob,
right? But like you start now, maybe it's just me trying to rationalize things. Like I started questioning, and that's why I was like,
I rationalize everything too. I get it.
Yeah, right. Like there's these like things that you're like, all right, I want to not explain, but a little bit more of like this feels like it's conflicting with maybe like what they were telling me before. So, that was like one of the things that like once we started getting towards the end, and I do like the ending. I think they stuck the landing best they could for me with it.
Yeah, they didn't like totally botch it or anything.
Right.
There wasn't much you can do with it, I would say.
Well,
like how else are you going to end this?
The way that they set it up with the storyline itself, unless they were legitimately just going to get lost in the back rooms. And that's what I kind of thought was going to happen.
I did too. I had no idea that this was going to follow anything.
But I didn't think it was going to just like hard black after they were speaking.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, no.
Well, they kind of
more.
They started talking, right, and then all of a sudden it kind of does. It's the one they zoom out of her, right? So it's her face, and then they start zooming out, and then you see, and they kind of shifted just a little bit. You see, it's a still life now,
and the ripple.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, I was like, because of the route that they went, and like you said, amorphous. When you think of a blob, right? Like it's kind of hard, like. How do you end the blob, right? Like, not to be so simplistic with it, but I was like, as long as they don't botch this, like I think it'll be all right with how it's explained. It feels like there was so much more meat on the bone that they could have went with it to make it a little bit more of a little bit more of a narrative story than what we got.
So, have either of you heard of or read the book House of Leaves by Mark L. Danielewski?
No, I have not.
So,
spell his last name.
Daniel.
Is that a hyphen or is it? Yeah.
No, it's all one name.
Okay.
But it came out in 2000, and it is one of my favorite books. I have it, and I can show you guys later after the record. But
nerd alert!
I know, right? Big ol' friggin' nerd. It is essentially an early kind of literature version of Backrooms, essentially. Oh, hello.
Nice. All right, be careful what you say.
My lovely assistant just came in and gave me the book, but it is essentially the story is this guy is living in this house. He measures his house one day and he finds that the inside of it is somehow an inch larger than the outside.
I love this concept.
And all of a sudden there's this room that appears in his living room that like leads to a basement, and like the more he explores it, the more hallways open up, and like it starts to become this like very cavernous thing.
It's a labyrinth, right?
It's a dark labyrinth of just rooms, like empty rooms.
Yeah.
And it's told through like kind of this like Easter like nesting egg story structure. So like it's this guy who like meets this old guy whose house gets decommissioned, and he like finds all these pages of this thing that doesn't exist called the Navidson record. And the Navidson record is the story of the guy with the house. And the actual format of the book is insane, because I'm going to flip through it right now. It is just like, all over the place when it comes to the formatting and like the sort of like, taking
that's a glimpse into my brain.
Taking the structure of what a conventional book would be and just like totally flipping it all over the place.
There was one letter on one of those pages,
and
there's music notes.
I know. I
have to read music.
Like, what the fuck?
I'm wondering if there is something you could do with a movie version of this, where like you take something like the Backrooms, where it's essentially
Are we making a movie, dog?
Dude,
I'm here for it.
Neon Crew Productions.
There we go.
Brought it up before, where it's like an integration of like these different formats of like the movie medium that we're used to seeing, but maybe you can like play around with it, retool it. We're talking about this idea of like, sort of like not suspending disbelief. What's the term I'm looking for?
Disassociating.
I don't.
Subverting expectations.
Yes.
Where like we can subvert expectations with not just like the story that's taking place, but the actual format in which we show it. And I'm wondering if there's a version of that with like a movie involving the Backrooms or like something along those lines that would totally work. I don't know how exactly, but there's a lot about this movie that just almost feels a little too conventional in the way that it's presented. And having that kind of like intrigue of format change, I think would really do wonders for something like this, especially concerning this story.
You just gave me what would have been the easiest thing that they could have done, and I really like the beginning of this thing.
Sex scene.
Was there?
No.
Oh. It's like,
no, I'm saying that.
Did I go into the right movie? Did I see Backrooms?
The X-rated Backrooms.
You saw Back Sessions.
That's right.
Yes.
You guys didn't rent this movie? The beginning of it, if they don't have the incident happen with that guy, and it leaves you kind of open up to what are we going to see? Because I will say it does captivate you as an audience member, and you do understand that there's some risk going back here, but I think that's also maybe like what limits it, right? Because instead of like the what's behind that corner, it's more so like when's it going to pop out. Right, like if you go in and you hear those noises but you don't know that there's anything bad, it really leaves you to your own perception of what could happen.
You're wanting the audience to be clamoring for more and like asking like, I want to like explore this more. I want more of this. Like I can't wait.
Trepidatiously though, right?
Trepidatiously, you're like drawing it out, but you're also getting to the point of having these audience members go like, what the fuck is the next thing gonna be? Like, having that be a drawing point. And instead with this movie, I feel more like I could take like 70% of this and it would be like a pretty great movie. The other 30%, take it or leave it. Like, you don't want people feeling like there's a little bit too much fat on the steak,
I'm just not thinking about it too, because I think that was like this was a really fun movie. Just it's been a while since I've been like, oh man, I'm kind of creeped out, and I was like, the one thing that I don't like is like it's the anticipation, knowing that there is something there. And I was thinking, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up, but like it would have been, I think, a little bit more fun of not knowing. Right now, we know that there's something there. We don't know what it is.
Right.
But if you take it from the stance of you don't know that there's something there and there's nothing to think that there's a reason for something to be there, I think it would make it even that much more eerie. Because it also and that maybe this is where I bump up against it too, is that it's a great intro, but it turns more into like a chase the whole time you're back there, and the plot really then shifts over to what's Chuda Ejiofor's name? Clark, right? And then it really dives into this whole psychological element, but like the beginning of it isn't set up that way.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Right? Well, you're almost getting like a condensed version of what the story's going to play out to be, which I guess for like a narrative storytelling point, I could see how they would like come to that conclusion. But again, like what you said, it's almost more fun if like you get an unsuspecting audience and like draw them in and like just kind of naturally get them to come to that point of tension without like them like necessarily knowing like, oh, what you know, I know what's going to happen next.
One of the scenes that I thought was really effective. I mean, there was a lot of, I just wish that they didn't have these fucking conversations. Like I have to have a therapist, like just be back there. But like he's walking through and he's like, all right, I'm going to get a little bit more hair on my nuts here and check it out. And then there's that like cardboard figure, right? Yeah. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh shit. But I know that there is something back there. If you don't know, you see that and you're like, well, what is going on, right? Like there was so many elements of that where it was kind of playing out. And maybe it's just, you know, for me, it's more so of like I'm just waiting for it to happen.
The character discovering the environment with the audience, I think, would have like really.
And he is doing that to some extent.
Made it lovely, yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know,
not very much though. The only scene that he does that in is when they find like that like pond, like the pond place.
Yes, I was about to say when he's running,
and she's like, "I see you," and he's like, "I don't see you."
Yeah. I guess you're. I mean, because I'm really curious how much of the film they spend outside the back rooms, and I feel like it's like 60-40, 50-50. You know?
I'm curious how much of the like found footage portion is on an actual set versus what Kane makes in Blender, because I know that he used. Well, this is
no, it's true. I'm just thinking like he's like, I'm done working with these fucking actors. Like I'm gonna go to my happy space.
Well, no, it's one of those movies where I watch it and I go, I would love to own this just so I could watch how a lot of this was made.
Oh, the DVD commentary.
Yeah, to like. Because I know, like, the Christmas tree area and, like, that whole thing was a practical real. Set. That was real.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm curious if, like, okay, what is an actual physical space that these people can be in and what is something that he makes on a computer? Like, just really curious about that.
I would probably put my money on that, the floating door that they go up through. Yeah. That was a physical scene with a green screen around it.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That felt very visceral, like the way they were sitting on it.
The only thing that, to me, I was like, this feels like CGI'd is when you see the depth of it.
Yeah,
like,
that's the only thing. Yeah. Everything else felt very clean about it.
Do you guys have a fear of heights? Because I saw that and I was like, oh, I've seen this in my nightmares.
I immediately like fucking sat back and grabbed it and I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's really fucking crazy.
I've had dreams where it's like, you know, you're going over like one of those very narrow, like,
drawbridge type things.
Yeah, and you're like, oh god, don't fall, and then you fall, you know. And I'm like sitting there, I was like, this guy's just tapping into all these fucking nightmares. Right?
And that's all the nightmares. I think what makes the idea of liminal spaces and like that being such a focal point of, you know, what people are interested in now, like what people are interested in seeing, because like, you know, I think horror as a genre just like naturally evolves, ebbs and flows. You know, in the 40s, you had like, oh, crazy monsters to consider. Yeah. And the 70s and 80s, it's like slasher figures.
Yes.
Like we got Jason, we got Freddy, we got Mike Myers, you know, yeah, baby, all that stuff. And then the sort of like early 2000s, it sort of became more of just like...
It was regurgitated IP.
Regurgitated IP. Horror was kind of in a drought. And now we're at the point where like... It's something that we talk about on the podcast all the time. We're like, you know, a lot of horror movies now, especially horror movies of quality, tend to have a deeper meaning to them, or like they actually stand for something.
Yeah, originality too.
Yeah,
I've been very, very happy with there being a lot more like IPs that are original.
Yeah. You got the like Obsessions come out. You got the guys that do the Talk to Me. And,
those guys.
It follows. The elevated horror, more
meta brothers.
More metaphorical and having more of a meaning behind what we're seeing. Just being able to attach all these like crazy ass ideas to it. But like that's why people like the slasher films, though, right? Like it's like your Saw.
Saw, I think, is why I have a phobia of needles.
Oh, for sure.
When they fell into the vat of needles, I think that's what did it for me.
Man, one of these days I'm going to marathon Saw with someone.
I'm good.
I'm not doing it by myself.
Dude, it's rough.
Yeah, I saw the first one. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to.
Yeah, you're tapping out.
Yeah, I'm good. You know, I saw the original.
To the face is
Who are you gonna walk up to and they're like, Saw 4 was my favorite movie of all time?
I mean, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people online that are like,
there,
oh yeah,
like,
I got my preferences. You know, Saw 3's ass, but Saw 6 is where it's at.
But yeah, the I think the hands that horror's in now, and I think that's also why you can see some of these like content creators starting to step up because they're having more original ideas, like you were saying about it, as opposed to the blockbusters where we're gonna get, you know, like the jump scares and it's just kind of like a thrill ride. Like they actually have some meaning behind it. Yeah,
they're doing a good job of like just kind of curating a sense of curiosity. You know, I think that's what a lot of like kind of notable horror movies are good at doing. Something like Blair Witch or like, you know, Paranormal Activity and now the Backrooms, where it's like you haven't seen anything like this. You know, obviously it's like drawing from like different types of things and like different inspirations. But
the original story, I mean, the story, like it follows. Have you seen that one yet?
So good.
I have not seen that one yet.
It's so good.
But it's like it's just like it's almost like a 1940s zombie movie. I mean, the thing, you know, but like
it feels way older than what it is.
Yeah,
like for sure. But it's so wonderfully done.
Yeah, and it has such a simple premise behind it, but it's like stuff like that where you're tapping into a lot of these other ideas about like liminal horror. Is it liminal horror, liminal storytelling? I don't know how to.
Liminal storytelling is true. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, like this is starting
said different things there, and we agree.
Because both of those are real things, and I would say It falls both in those categories. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like we're starting to see more of an uptick on this too, which is like, you know, 20 years ago, I don't know if this was something that people were really even talking about.
But I think the focus too is a lot of just this idea that horror doesn't just have to be like a monster or a slasher figure coming after people. It can be something psychological. It can be like this idea of like a shared experience. Like, you know, it can be this sense of like, you know, this place just feels wrong. And
very much so. Very much so. This, I mean, this
doing a great job of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even in my like experiences doing the podcast and like for What Goes Bump in the Night, people are the real monsters. Like that is the odds, like the God's honest
your
truth.
history, like you learn a lot of different stories about like see like, oh my, like you just learned something and it's like, I can't believe this actually existed.
So I'll drop a little bit of crazy knowledge on both of you.
Okay.
Frederick Holloman was one of the first serial killers to ever operate anywhere and be like documented and whatnot.
Okay.
He's from Grand Haven.
Shut up.
Nope. His
Frederick Holderman?
Holloman. So HOL and then man, I think is the way that you would spell it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we did a bunch of research. He predated Jack the Ripper. He predated, you know, H.H. Holmes and whatnot. And he had killed at least like I think 6 or 7 people, like women, and had put a garrote around their neck and then hung them by the door handle.
So the type of killings still check out to this day. But
but he was one of the first ones, and we had uncovered that just walking through Lake Forest Cemetery. We seen his gravestone basically.
Yeah,
I don't think his actual body is here because he was executed in Indiana. Okay, but his whole family is buried here.
What years are we talking? Like in the 1800s?
It's before Jack the Ripper. Yeah, probably like
or very early
Victorian times. I'm assuming.
Basically, yeah. Like,
was Michigan even a state?
We weren't a state until like the early 1800s.
I would say it was right early on because he emigrated from Germany.
Okay,
and he came over with his family, and they lived here for, I think it was like 6 years or something like that. And that's in the time that he operated. But then he also moved to Indiana during that time. Oh. But like I said, he got executed in Indiana. Right. But his family was here.
They caught him in Indiana. Mm-hmm. So they caught him after a killing. Mm-hmm. At that time, too, you'd have to... I mean, not to laugh, but like you'd have to catch it in cold blood. Right?
Basically, like
you're like there's flashlight on them and like
there's no way of actually having any forensic evidence to tie people to things. I wouldn't think.
Not to get into like serial killers, but it is like the FBI profiling stuff and like what mine hunters did
is wild,
right? And like, but hey, it was a female, and it was like something that was, you know, he choked him out and probably problems with his mom or something. Like, I don't, you know, but like
something like that.
It's insane that goes back like 200 years, or I'm assuming, right? Am I close on? I'm not good in year math.
I would say not too far off ballpark.
Yeah, okay, good. I mean, but that's insane. So Frederick Holman,
Holman, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on our stuff in the podcast lore. I don't know what episode it was because we have 250 episodes of random.
Can I ask you this? Because a big kind of interest that Mac and I sort of shared a little bit before, like not before, but like, you know, while we were getting to know each other and like, you know, get to know our movie taste was cults.
Yeah, I love cults.
Is that something that you guys have like sort of discussed and like covered?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate was a big one for me.
Yeah.
I'm still like Marshall Applewhite is a fucking crazy man.
Yeah, I've seen the videos where they're like
he's the leader
of Heaven's Gate. Okay.
They're giving like the logs and they're like giving their last message before they all.
Yep.
Did you not see the documentary? Did you not watch that?
So.
There's a
Jim Jones too, like from
Johannesburg.
Yeah, Jonestown.
Is that Jonestown? Yeah, yeah. That one was. Dude, I read like
that was one of the first ones I ever came
2-page article on that thing. I mean, it's condensed, but like just
that's within one of the first 5 episodes of us doing the podcast.
Really?
Yeah, like when we started doing like video episodes too, we were like we had to do Jonestown.
Yeah, that's the Kool-Aid one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Don't drink the
Kool-Aid. Yeah, the Heaven's Gate one was insane. That guy's creepy as hell.
Yeah, T and Doe.
Huh?
Yeah, T and Doe.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ride the Hail Bob cow.
Oh my god. Just dude,
I love cults. It's there's something about
I
like
love everything they do.
Hell yeah,
everything
bro.
they stand for.
because like I always laugh where it's like some of these, and like this is gonna be a hot ass take, but some of the other paranormal groups that are like really famous and whatnot, like I almost wonder if they just started spitting like weird, like, you know, really weird religious stuff where they're like, come follow me in this church, blah 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 blah, you know, like would people do it because like it's blind faith is what we're doing, is almost what it feels like sometimes when you're like, I believe there's an afterlife and I believe something's going on.
Blind faith and preying on the vulnerable is usually the
one and the same
building blocks.
It's a paradox, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because then when we do our research into cults and stuff like that, you're like, oh, it is 100% just like a way of thinking, and somebody that has like a dynamic way of speaking can 100% influence the way that somebody thinks.
That's what I learned in the Heaven's Gate doc, is that this guy was trying multiple things, and all of a sudden he just started plucking people that are...
Dude was doing fucking basically like meth. And just like... believe I'm the next coming of Jesus.
There's a fantastic, it's one of my favorite songs. It's called 39 by Design by Drab Majesty. It's
I've heard it.
It's a very kind of like 80s inspired synth song with like very strong vocals, but it's essentially a song about the 39 people who ended their lives because of the cult and like Marshall Applewhite. And the official music video ends with like the last person giving their documentation.
Oh, that's the crazier part too. Is if you actually listen
all
to
of them
that
do
shit,
their confessions.
Oh, dude, you'll hear the kids like crying in the background while they're doing them. Yeah, as they're taking the Kool-Aid and shit. Yeah, and, like drinking the cyanide and stuff, and you're like, this is so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Can I also say Marshall Applewhite? It feels very like a cult. Right,
cult name.
Like it's one of those.
It's like, wow, you've like followed your calling essentially.
I think I used to at Sam's Club. I used to tell people I'd either be like, "You remind me of Marshall Applewhite," or I'd say, "You have like that's a very good culty name," and just like walk away. It's like, is that a compliment? Like if someone came up to you and they're like, "Man, you got a great cult leader name," and just walked away.
Jim Jones and Marshall Applewhite, both definitely like, yep.
I think we are sort of with the discussion of cults, and which I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying very much.
Kane Parsons made a cult following in this 100%. This is a perfect segue.
Yeah, that's. I thought we were getting back to it. Yeah,
but I was just going to pose the question if there was anything else we wanted to talk about with this movie before we move on to Disclosure Day.
So,
I love it.
Kind of, obviously with some of the psychological elements going on with this and some of the storytelling, I felt like this, I think you could almost make an argument or at least have fun with it, having it being more of a metaphor about AI and what AI is doing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
This idea of like it's generating this thing that's like a little bit off. There's like this uncanniness to it,
and you could have had her whatever profession you wanted her to be in, but it's almost like that one. I'm trying to, like when you go in through AI and you try to refine something, it continues to get more and more just within its own realm, right? Like you're breaking it down, but it's almost nonsensical to
the
what
more
you're
realistic you try to make it, the more unsettling it feels, and like it's just kind of pushing you away.
It was so appropriate to have Clark almost doing a self-diagnostic through AI of himself, and having it be the representation between the true knowledge facts with the therapist versus what he was learning through AI and through self-discovery, essentially, as he's going through AI down there. That was a fun little take that I had. I was like, it still doesn't help me out though, but
no. I think that element is like very prevalent throughout it without it having to be like super obvious. But that is something that I've seen before, people discussing like, oh, is this like explicitly like about AI? And it's like, I think it's there. I think it's there for us to like dig into, and like, you know, it's a sign that this movie is ultimately good, that we can take multiple different things from it. That being one of them, you know, more so just this idea of like memory and how we remember things, and how kind of over time that just becomes more and more faulty and untrustworthy, and that being represented physically through this environment.
Yes. Yeah. That's all I had to say. It's a fun little take on it.
No, I like it. Yeah. Shall we get into ratings for Backrooms, directed by Kane Parsons?
I think it's time for ratings.
I think so. Trevor, do you want to go first? We usually do a scale of 1 to 10 out of 10, but if you have your own scale, feel free to go with that.
No, I'll do the 1 out of 10 scale.
Okay.
I'll give it like a 7.3 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say it was
0.3.
Yeah, 0.3.
Okay.
It just doesn't tip the scale far enough to like be close enough to like on the high end of like good movie quality, because like I think it was all there, but knowing what I know and knowing that there was so much left on the table that I think they could have definitely done, and like it felt like it was too quick. It went by in like a fucking blink is what it felt like too.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay, Mac, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I thought one of the best shots in this whole thing too is like that camera going down through the levels.
Yeah,
you know,
that was in the initial teaser trailer. Yeah,
was it really? Okay, yeah, I love that. I thought this guy's got some chops. I really like the some of the thriller elements behind it. Just going into this thing fresh, you know, it's once again it feels a little bit. It's not bigger. I think they had a bigger concept here, and they just made it too on the nose with what they went with. So ultimately, like what holds me up is just the narrative and the storytelling behind it. I wish they would have went a different route. Everything else I thought was great.
Yeah.
The score, we didn't even talk about the score, but the score in this thing is fucking phenomenal.
Kane Parsons made a lot of the music with this fella named Ido Van Bremen, who...
Oh, Ido, yeah.
Yeah, right? You know him. Just down the road. No, because like he's like a powerhouse of creativity, man. I'm fucking jealous of this kid. I'll say it.
Kane or Ido?
Kane. Well,
yeah.
Because Kane has his own music channel, and like you can go onto it, and it like perfectly is in sync with the style of narrative that he's built up. And like the interview I was watching with him, he said that they each did like kind of half the music, you know. There's some where it's just him, there's some where it's just Ido. A lot of it is like the two of them combined, and you know, the score I think really just complements it all.
It is. It's fantastic. I was thinking of Gideon every time the score popped up. I was like, dude, Gideon would freaking love this.
I can't believe he makes the music. I didn't realize that Kane had musical talent.
Idiot savant.
I will let you in on this, Trevor. If you go to his music channel, I don't remember the name of it right now.
I'll let you in on this? Wait, you're holding this?
Yeah.
This is new to me.
You're privy to this classified information. Yeah. No, so you'll like it if you're into like the lore of the Backrooms, because a lot of his like sort of album art and the music titles and everything ties into sort of the lore of the Backrooms, specifically with Ivan Beck and like sort of something involving him.
Oh God, see, no, God damn it!
There's a lot more you can dig into if you want to. It's the lore of this is almost like the representation of the Backrooms itself, where like there's more to discover for you if you want to. But how much are you willing to dive deep into it and get lost in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't got to give me what I got in front of me, but
give me the pizza.
Yeah. No. So, anyways, I got this. This is a 7 out of 10. It's a strong 7 out of 10. I really wish I could get past the storytelling on this, and the script, And that's the only thing that is seriously holding me up. But it's a huge
The
part of the
script
film,
is pretty
right?
plain, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where it felt way too on the nose. And by the time the third act starts, we get into exposition. I'm like, oh, it's right here. And we just learned everything that we need to. And now it's like kind of like a fun little get away from Monster Clark.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7 out of 10.
Guys, I think if we're going to the casino and hitting the slots, we got 3 7s in a row.
Oh, dude.
Because that's exactly where I'm at. The first time I watched this, I gave it an 8. Because I'm like, this is like...
I wanted it to be higher.
This is my
So
bread and
bad.
butter.
Same.
This is like really what I'm drawn to when it comes to like, what I want to experience from a movie, this like sense of ominous, unknowable environment. And, given it some time, having it, going on for like a second viewing, it just really kind of started to show a little bit of the cracks.
Yep.
Much like, the Backrooms when it's forming some of these environments and it's like kind of not knowing how to construct it exactly the way it used to be. The foundation started to give way a little bit. Especially the longer the movie went on, the more conventional parts of the storytelling and like how the movie was filmed. Like, it's a gorgeous looking movie. Really like the look of it. It does kind of have some dissonance between like the found footage stuff and like just what's conventionally shot.
Yep.
And some of that really was like sort of taking me out of it for a movie that I was like so ready to be immersed in, right? Like anytime it got to those found footage moments where it's just like, we're getting into the appeal of this specific thing.
Yeah.
Like what we love about this, seeing it unfold in front of us as the characters are learning it for themselves. And some of that just came to a complete stasis with the third act. And like, I didn't hate Pirate Clark. I like him.
Pirate Clark.
I like him well enough. He's a fun guy. I would invite him over for a barbecue.
He's just so silly.
He's a silly little guy. But I don't know. It's one of those things where like, I enjoy the fact that this exists a little bit more than I enjoy the movie itself, but I still enjoy the movie quite a bit. So
I like the idea of Coke more than I like Coke.
You know what? That's a great way to distill my thoughts. It's also a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it's funny that you like everything we talk about, like cinematography, directing, acting, score, all hit, and then it's still like just never got there. That's when it gets frustrating.
Yep. I really had high hopes. I really did. I mean, it's not like it didn't live up to those hopes.
It's not like totally disappointing.
You weren't dashed, right? Like you didn't walk out and be like, God, that I just...
Not by any means. I was actually thrilled because I was like, this was so well done.
Yeah.
Like 100% was super happy about
There's
it.
a version of this that totally could have just like face planted and like the Backrooms as a concept is just like
There's also a version
fucked.
that they could have fucking like dove more into it.
I wanted it to be
That's true.
2.5 hours, 100%.
It
Like,
was-
give me the length of fucking Disclosure Day that was.
Dude, that movie felt like 4 hours.
Okay.
I know.
I might be the highest on this one. I'm not even high on it.
Hey, we can get into it. Speaking of lowering expectations,
Okay. Yeah, let's hit it.
there's another film that we will be talking about in this episode, Disclosure Day. So, Trevor, normally how this works, and I'm assuming you've listened to like an episode, maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. Our show's awful.
We're long-winded.
One of us will not recommend. One of us will summate the movie before we get into the greater discussion, before we get into like spoilers and specifics. Since it was sort of your kind of inception to come on here to talk about Disclosure Day, did you want to give a summary of the movie, or did you want one of us to do it?
I would say you guys do it because I basically fucking fell asleep.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Well, that's
did
an
not
insight.
like it.
That's an insight. Oh, wow. Okay, we're just getting into it. All right.
Straight up.
So, yeah, okay.
Did you want to get this one since I got Backrooms?
Well, yeah, this is how it rolls. I mean, I was going to offer it to Trevor too, but I can do it.
Go
Throw
for
me
it.
on the fucking fire. All right.
Hey, Mac.
Disclosure Day 2026.
That's gonna sound great on
Speely. Yeah, that's when everybody see just the spike in attendance. Speely 2026 film, Disclosure Day. Directed by Spielberg. Written by David Koepp.
David Koepp.
And Spiely. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like Spiely had a bunch of notes and grand ideas, and Koepp tried to flesh this thing out best he could. Starring Emily Blunt as Margaret, Josh O'Connor. I didn't even know he was a doctor. Dr. Daniel Kellner.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I never caught that.
Nope.
Colin Firth as the sinister Noah Scanlon. I really liked his name.
I like the character's name.
Agreed.
Eve Hewson as Jane Blankenship, and that's high praise for this thing. As Jane Blankenship, Coleman Domingo as Hugo Wakefield, and the last one that I will mention is Wyatt Russell as the boyfriend Jackson.
Very interesting casting for this movie.
Yeah.
It felt.
I agree.
It did, and I don't. Yeah, we'll get into it. So disclosure day, and to totally disclose this, I 9:05 showing. I get to the cinema, and for whatever reason, 15-year-olds are banned.
Wait, 9:05 a.m. or p.m.?
p.m.
Okay.
It was like, so I have a newborn too, and right now both these movies are like whatever's the last showing that my kids are sleeping, right? And this 9:05 was the latest one. I was like, fuck. But so I show up to the cinema, and I'm every time I go to the cinema, even on Saturdays, it's like you walk up, you're good, right? 9:05. What 18-year-old kid's going? Well, there's a huge fucking line, and not to mention, none of these people are going to see Disclosure Day. So, anyways, I walked into this thing, and it is two grown-ass men wrestling with like a bunch of conversations happening, and I'm watching this. I was like, "Am I at the right time? Am I in the right theater?" Right?
I had the same exact fucking experience I did.
So you're sitting, it's just kind of, it just pops. And I won't lie, I didn't mind it once I settled in, but the confusion it caused me was like, anxiety was like, so anyways, the movie starts out with Kellner. He's got a piece of information, or he's got an item that some people are seeking out. Immediately kind of gets captured. He's asking for this lady. There's an exchange. Well, there's not an exchange because he pulls out this item and he just kind of holds it at them like it's a knife. And
this is like a minute into.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
like,
what.
Way too quick.
It happens so. It's going. It's like
it's like dumping the cold water on us. And
yeah. Well,
asking
it's
us
a cold
to run
open,
with it.
right?
Yeah.
And so we're learning everything as it goes along. He's got this. I don't even know if Jane's his girlfriend. Like that was the other weird thing. Like it's just Jane.
Girlfriend, kind of like hooking up, sort of thing.
Yeah. They did say that they boned.
They made it a point to say like we've had sex.
Yeah, and I was like, is this like a friends with benefit thing? Are you guys broken up? Why are you? That's another reason too why I was kind of like, have I missed stuff?
Well, we can talk about.
How I felt the whole fucking movie.
We can also talk about like at what point does Spielberg try to get into like more adult themes with his movies?
Well,
and like how kind of clunky that's integrated. But yeah, we can.
So I mean, that's kind of it. I mean, you guys, you find out as soon as he kind of escapes, it goes back with Noah Scanlon and like this WebEx, what's the thing called?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Right.
It's Hard X, I think.
Yeah.
The
company's name.
Yeah, what the fuck? Wardex.
Wardex. Yeah. And so now we're starting to get more exposition that we got some runaway scientists.
Shows how much of an impression this movie made.
Yeah. Confused, not in the sense of the story about how I should feel. So there's these scientists that have kind of escaped. We have some dialogue going on, and we find out that there's possibly some alien artifacts that have been captured that may hold I don't know, the power of the universe or something, and never really explained. And that's it. And we get introduced to Margaret, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm at the beginning of this thing because we're getting some exposition here because they have to go, we've been together for 2 years. I'm going to move from Oklahoma. And that's it. And the movie kind of takes off. She has a little bit of a freak out on live TV. And and then all of a sudden just more calls of, hey, trust me, this is what's going to happen. And that's where we go. So spoilers for Disclosure Day.
Trevor, I want to pose this question from the jump. What is your relationship with Steven Spielberg? I mean, obviously he's like a big prominent filmmaker that, has made some pretty notable alien films like E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, War of the Worlds. But do you have sort of like a relationship with him as a director? Like, do you have a favorite Spielberg?
I think War of the Worlds for me did it. I really, really liked War of the Worlds.
Okay,
yeah?
Robbie.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but it was one of those back in the day where it just was like, I love aliens.
Yeah.
I love gigantic like mech robots.
Were you
Gundams.
into aliens at that point? Like, were you
big
already
time.
fascinated? So, like, when that came out, it was scratching an itch. It wasn't like, boy, this really got my curiosity. So you were already into them, and like you were looking.
I saw
forward.
a UFO when I was really young.
Really?
Yeah, me and my parents were driving down the highway on 31, and we were like right by the river flats.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, not the river flats, but like right where
Like north of Muskegon area?
No, it's between where Airline and Sherman is.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of
where that flat is.
Yeah.
And we saw like it looked like a gigantic fucking submarine with like orange halos in the middle of it, but it was big enough to be like at least 4 or 5 like football fields long. And then I watched it kind of just sit there, and I was like, what the fuck? And then we pulled over on the side of the highway.
Holy shit.
And then we weren't the only ones that pulled over. Like 3 or 4 other cars pulled over,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
were all like, you see that, right?
Yeah.
And we're all like, uh-huh. And I mean, I was probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
And that
this
was like
is-
one of the most like distinct burning memories of like,
I can see the passion behind this.
yeah, like, that's a unicorn. Like those don't exist.
Right.
Like, what is this? And to this day, I don't know. I've seen things like that, but nothing that visceral. And like even my parents would say the same thing. Like,
So that's like a core memory, and that's
Oh,
where you
yeah.
kind of the fascination started a little bit.
Yeah, where I was
when am I
like-
going to see more of those?
yeah, and I was like, is that a satellite? Like,
Yeah.
is that what a satellite looks like? And they were like, no.
yeah.
Definitely
Dude,
not.
I can't imagine too being that young, and then my parents looking at it confused too, because they're
And
the
then
rocks,
doing
right?
70 on the highway and just pulling over.
Right.
Never have done that before.
Yeah. You know, and it's fast enough that this is not a great decision, right?
Yeah,
With like
yeah.
all the other, if there were other cars, like it sounds like they kind of stopped too, but like like this is what's going on. Interesting.
So, you know, War of the Worlds would probably be your kind of like Spielberg alien movie that you would kind of hold close to yourself.
Yep. And then Close Encounters, as I got older, I really appreciated it because it was also a masterclass.
I watched it for the first time. I did some alien movie homework before we jumped into this episode. So
Fire in the Sky.
I did Fire in the Sky.
is awesome.
I did Fire in the Sky.
Okay.
I did Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which I really liked. Probably the best one out of the bunch.
Yeah.
I did, and these are all ones that I hadn't seen before.
Yep.
I just watched Independence Day today for the first time.
That's mine. But I have a different experience. So.
Be curious to talk with you about that one day. I have very different feelings on it.
You're a fucking sadist.
I know.
America!
Gideon,
God.
Gideon always talked about this movie, The Fourth Kind, so I put that on the list.
I love The Fourth Kind, too.
I don't know if I've ever seen the fourth kind.
It's like found footage, but like also like it's based in Alaska, where like a lady basically like would go through regression, and she would basically relive like the experience of herself being taken. So they say that there's 3 kinds of like extraterrestrial like things that happen to you. So like you see it, you experience it, and then you get taken, and that's like the 4th kind is like getting taken.
Oh, so there's a little bit more about. Okay, that makes more sense. I'd never.
Yeah, so like the 3rd kind, I'm pretty sure is contact, where we would have contact with each other.
Yep.
But then the 4th kind is like you're just straight up getting abducted.
Holy shit. That's a fun fact. I've learned 2 things now.
Yeah, and then there was one other. Contact.
Yes.
Yeah, contact is another great one too.
Yeah, I watched that for the first time.
That one's a little bit more obscure for me, where it's like it's fine.
That one's
I
very.
don't love it.
I think dive more into the science a little bit with it.
It's
or
slower, but
It's-
not in a bad way.
I like the movie overall. It's a little long in the tooth, and
Yep.
the whole like kind of Zemeckis stuff of it is like what I rub up against. Like this sort of idea of like we got to get all ideals involved in this movie. How does this touch American culture? And it's like, all right,
yeah.
you're kind of
It's-
up your own ass.
Yeah, it's
here.
a little snooty.
Okay.
A little bit.
little Zemeckis-y.
Is this Jodie Foster, McConaughey?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Jodie Foster pretending to not be a lesbian the whole time is very interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I was just curious about like your sort of like Spielberg point of view and like you know like your experience with his films overall, like you know Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List.
I adore everything he's made.
Okay.
I think the stuff that he's made more recently, I'm not a big fan of.
I think a lot of people share that sentiment.
like Fableman's West Side Story.
Yeah.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One was okay.
Yeah.
For what it was, I thought it was a cool concept, and I liked a lot of the nostalgia booms that I got from it.
Yep.
But like at the same time, I was like, I can tell he's aging.
I have very similar feelings about this movie that I have with Ready Player One, and I guess we can like kind of get into disclosure day with it now, where it's like, to me, Ready Player One is a movie that I feel very kind of like cold on. A lot of it because I don't know how much of it is like Spielberg trying to commentate on something in a purposeful way.
Right.
Like, this movie is being presented as like, yeah, it's a big action blockbuster with like all these references, and it's a big video game.
About capitalism.
But there's like, this like sense of like looming kind of dystopian. Like, oh, we're just lost in like the slavery of technology, and like, how much of that is like purposefully being presented by Spielberg, and how much of that does he like not really give a shit about and doesn't want to investigate?
I think this one was purposeful. To me, it didn't feel like they had way too many avenues they were trying to go down.
And I think that's part of it, is that like there's a lot that Spielberg, I think, is trying to paint with a broad brush in Disclosure Day that I just don't think connect together or connect with us as me as an audience member.
Just didn't make me care
really at all. Like, I went out of the movie and I was like, okay, I had some fun here. There's like some like classic Spielbergisms, but then I started thinking about it more of just like, how much of the old tricks does he effectively does he employ in an effective way, and how much of it works still? Because and we can get into it where like, and I think Trevor might be the biggest hater on this thing, but
you came into it with high hopes.
Really excited for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, we could. Yeah, let's talk
real
about
quick
it.
too. How many like? Would you consider yourself a movie buff, average movie goer, like you movie buff? Okay,
yeah.
so like
I wouldn't say as of lately I've been catching a lot of movies,
right?
But like I will critically and like sit down and like parse the movie out pretty hard.
So you have some thought behind it when you're watching it, right? So like you're going into this with some maybe lower expectations from a Spielberg film from his recent stuff, but you know him enough to where you're
I
like,
basically like tried to take myself out of the idea of like, this is a Spielberg movie and this is probably his last foray into it,
right?
And then just was like, this is a movie with a great concept. Let's just go see what it's about.
Yeah. Okay. So that's I wanted to put it in for people too, just so that there's a little bit more context. So like when we're talking about this stuff, we're trying to view it in the lens of like, we're removing the director and what we're seeing. We want to take the movie itself, look at it subjectively. And go ahead. Cause there's a lot of problems.
I'm curious, like, cause Trevor, I think, has very kind of passionate feelings a certain way about this film. And I kind of want to give him the space to sort of like share his experience with this as a movie and like how he feels about it.
I guess just the way that it opens up was like a really good, like it does not open up in a way that anybody would have expected it to.
Right.
It's very jarring.
Yes.
And then the pace that it sets right out the gate is just too quick. Because,
doesn't match. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I think you could have, honest to God, started with the scene where she meets the bird, and then had that scene where now we're seeing her like disclosing to the news, like everybody and like that sees this, and then started the story from there, but like did it in a different light. Because I think what I really think was happening was like, it's Spielberg is now older, and like I hate to use a hot take like this, but like it's almost like Alzheimer's, it feels like, where it jumps so many different fucking ways. Yeah. And you're like, I'm trying to follow it as good as I can, and I really want to like sit here and like be as into it as I want to be, but like you don't understand what they're doing right away. Not until like 30 minutes into the movie, and then you're like, okay, now I see who the key players are, kinda. Yeah. And then even then it's like you're wildly deep into like this action fucking romp that you were like, I wasn't expecting wall-to-wall action.
Right.
Like I really thought this was going to be like a slow burn of like intellectual, like, well, what happens when the world gets this information?
See,
like,
the philosophy behind like, what if we didn't know, or how is this going to conflict with religion, with culture, with all these different communities?
Oh God, and the religion side of it too was so weirdly just splatted in there.
Splatted in there, and then very conveniently dealt with at a certain point. In the
religion
movie,
aspect,
where she asked the nun. I mean, we're jumping all over the place, but this movie does the same thing.
Yeah.
Where
we're meeting the movie where it's at.
I was gonna say it's kind of like
she asked the nun, like, I'm scared about the implications of this, like how people's faith is going to be destroyed, and the nun is like, well, God, made this
Genesis
world.
26:15 or whatever.
He made everybody on Earth.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's
then
like,
you just what?
It's almost like
We're
it's
just going to close the chapter on that one. There's a good explanation. She's cleared up. Her mind's a little bit better now, right?
It's something that I kind of appreciate about Contact is that like it is kind of like throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, but it is also dealing with that specific question of like, oh, what's the religious implication of aliens being introduced into the world in a way that I'm like, oh, this is like a constant through line. This is something that it's consistently wrestling with in a way that's
It's
like,
not
okay,
just a sprinkle bit.
Right.
this is something that the movie is like centralizing and making a point of. Whereas this movie, it almost feels like it is trying to touch on it in a way where it's like, hey, we're considering all the different angles and viewpoints on this, but it's doing it in a way where it's like, don't worry, we'll get through it pretty quickly. We'll have a nice, clean answer for everybody who wants to go see this movie to enjoy. And it's like, there's like a point in which like it gets too sanitized and
that's where it ended, and then they bring it back up, and it's kind of like, let's bring it back up again, where it's like, no, it's okay.
So
this
true.
won't impact anybody with religion, because and I'm like, this feels way too clean. Like, yes,
It's a salad with a drop of dressing in
Yes.
it. And then you're like, enjoy it.
yep. Yeah, here you go. That covered it. And it's like, what?
we
No.
talk about seeing movies on their own, like kind of meeting them at their level. And you mentioned how like, we'll sometimes do our best to like separate the director from the movie and like kind of look at it on its own.
Yeah.
I almost can't do that with Spielberg.
No.
Like there is something about the way he's made this movie that feels to me, and you see this with a lot of,
it's like all of his old movies.
you see this with a lot of older directors who are like in their 80s. We're getting to the point now where like a lot of these auteurs are like, is this going to be the last movie that I make? Where they almost don't want to leave any stone unturned and like
Let's do this like pole shot and this slide shot
Yeah.
and this shot.
let's include all the stuff that is notable for my filmmaking style and like what sets me apart from people,
That's
while also
exact.
like trying to maybe touch on some new stuff, but I'm still
Attach
gonna
a
like
narrative.
I'm still
Yeah.
gonna pull out the old bag of tricks. I'm still gonna do it because I'm Steven Spielberg and people expect a certain thing from me, and I'm sitting here going like, yeah, but some of this feels detrimental to the story you want to tell.
Yeah, it
it's
breaks the fourth wall.
It's very clear you want to tell like this sort of like alien story through like this espionage lens of like, secret government corporations and like, this private like corpo security group going after these people, and like, this sort of dystopian backdrop of like World War III is about to start. But
I
then
thought it was
again,
more
You
social.
barely even get that.
you barely
That's-
get that, and it's just like,
It felt more social commentary with some of the things that were happening like current day. And I think he was trying to like kind of get into like the way that he sees the world a little bit unfolding, with like we're leaning less away from empathy, right? And it's going back to like, hey, look out for yourself. You got to do this. But like, once again, like that's a theme in this thing, right? Like World War III is popping up, but like, because there's so much other shit in here, we only sprinkle it in with news articles, or someone goes, "Man, did you hear that? That North Korea's got the nukes?"
This
and
feels
it's
this feels like almost like Spielberg's greatest hits, the movie, where it's like, we're gonna have stuff that evokes Close Encounters. We're gonna have stuff that evokes E.T. towards the end, where we introduce Alien Boy.
Yeah.
We're gonna have stuff that evokes Indiana Jones with the train scene. We're gonna have stuff that evokes obviously like War of the Worlds stuff, and with like the footage, like the news footage at the end and everything like that. And it's just like, at what point does this movie not have much of its own identity?
It doesn't have any of its own.
I would agree.
And I haven't seen AI, but like I've seen a lot of comparisons about AI where it's like Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor's characters are sort of similar to Haley Joel Osment in that movie, where it's like something weird's happening with them and we can't figure out what.
Dude, I mean, when they dropped the bombshell that he was like, I was in prison and then I got recruited right after prison. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, we don't know anything
He's
about
a doctor.
we don't know anything about these characters. Like, literally anything. And this was like 3/4 of the way through the fucking movie when we find this out, too.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately.
So the one thing that I kind of was like, I liked with this via his other movies is that he doesn't hold your hand the whole way through. Like a lot of his other films, I think there's like a lot of exposition and just in case you forgot. Whereas this one, he does leave it a little bit more of like, you're going to find out as we go along.
Yeah.
But like, because of how much shit's in here,
It's just like flap.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't ever get
momentum's all over the place. Yeah,
you don't get invested in the characters, and they're just trying to, like, they come up with all these different things that, like, eventually at the end of this, we're just gonna solve all the problems by disclosing this, right? And it's like, boy, it doesn't feel like anything got solved here. Like,
listen.
Yeah. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I think it's more of like I do think that he played a lot into we got to get back to like respecting our neighbors and talking and empathizing a lot more. And I think plays out through Emily Blunt's character, but dude, fucking like her superpower, that shit pissed me off. I'm like, she just walked up and you see your old wife or whatever. I'm like, okay, like someone's gonna tackle her.
It's almost like Spielberg is wanting
it
it
gets worse.
They just let her walk out.
Yeah, it's almost like he's wanting it to be like, okay, she has this very specific ability. What's her ability? Well, it's kind of like this nebulous thing where like she just sort of makes people see what they want, but she can also like read their minds. But
it's
she also
very
like
ambiguous too, like what it is.
She has like a general sense of like where she's supposed to go, and it's like, I feel like the thing that I like about a lot of Spielberg movies is that he likes to delve into the specificity of something.
Yes.
Like he likes to like look at a concept and be like, what's the most that we can get out of this? And this almost feels like his attempt at like, we're going to have this sort of shrouded in like some mystery or ambiguity, like what Trevor was saying, but it doesn't
hit the mark.
It's not enough because there's too much stuff being glossed on and like touched on in some way. Like this movie to me was like, the pacing of it was just way too long. Like,
yeah. Well, and it breaks its own self. Because at one point, when they have those fucking things and he can like control her, she has the fucking other one.
Yeah,
and all he has to do is control her at that point. And
I don't even want to think about like the logic breaks that you could easily bring up in this movie.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm invested enough to be like, I can see where everything's going to happen, and it's like I want to feel like I'm here for it. But then you're like, that dude just spent fucking the whole first half of the movie trying to control her. Now she has everything he's fucking looking for, and they split up. I'm not controlling her anymore. I'm looking for him.
Yes.
Well,
okay, Batman.
Yeah, that thing was also weird because like
what? I did the same. It was at the Indiana. Was it after maybe the motel or there was some point? Yeah,
when they split, I was like, oh, he's got her. That's it. Movie over.
Yeah, it was kind of like, can't he just use her now? And then it was just like,
well, there's a point in the
movie, like a fucking James Bond supervillain.
There's a point early on in the movie where he is talking to like a bunch of the people that he works with in the office, like security building, and he's like, "Give me a list of all the people who have called in." And then he like establishes that the way that the stone thing that he holds works is he has to like look at a picture of someone.
Yeah, that was weird too.
And just like kind of like, oh, if I like do this enough and look at their picture, I can
single Mac.
I can I can hone in on them and like sort of take them over and like find out where they are. And it's like, okay, why don't you just figure out all the people who called in and find one of them and just hone in on them? Then you can find the guy you're looking for. I don't know,
man. It was very fucking just like
stupid.
Yeah, like
it's just a lot of stupid concepts that they could have avoided, like the non-continuity with all of it.
I honestly think he opened up. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the cold open where it's just like, hey, you're thrust into the situation.
I like all the stuff with like the espionage and like the kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah,
like, oh, this is gonna be a conspiracy.
Had a slower start to the espionage instead of it just being not slap.
Right. Like, I'm not knocking that at all because it's all different flavors. But I'm wondering if he did that because he's looking at what he had within the editing bay and was like,
"This is all
we got to knock this out like up front," and that way, like, we just get people off their feet, not really thinking about this.
That's a good point. Like, what I wonder what the timeline looked like before he really started making all the cuts.
Yeah,
because it's the same thing for when I do my editing for all the like the paranormal stuff. It's like 4 hours long, and I'm like,
the editing of it.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I wouldn't. Like, yeah, that feels like. Yeah, I have no. This is it. It feels like you got the director because I really like the action sequences. I like the cinematography.
The cinematography is great. Like there's no knock on that. Yeah, it looks great.
Like even like the train sequence, I thought was exhilarating. I really liked. We're gonna put a car in a house. Like that's all they built a house
to drive a car through.
Right, that they could do multiple takes with. So like that's all practical. Like I love what practical Spielberg gets in and he's like, let's stretch the imagination with what we can do. But it feels like he was like, we also have to honor the script. And that's where I think like it's the weakest point of all of this shit.
Yeah, it's the script for sure.
Like he feels like, and I don't know, like it from the reading and from what I've seen is he was a part of writing this, and this was his story that he kind of wanted to get out. But it feels like there's two deviling sides here.
It's a movie that's at war with itself.
Yes.
Because I feel like David Koepp maybe wrote a version of the script that felt like a little colder, a little bit more distant, a little bit more conspiratorial, and focused on that part of it while like, you know, honing in on the idea of like, we got to have empathy for these aliens that are being mistreated. We got to get the word out there. People have to know.
Yeah.
And Steven Spielberg, it feels like, came in and was like, what if I just add like all these strokes of sentimentality to it? This idea that like, oh, these people were like affected when they were children, and like we're adding like the wonderment of nature into it, and like look at the way the animals have connections with them. It's like that's how they're presenting themselves, and it's like this is way too clashing with the thing that interests me the most about this movie.
So, and one of the things, because I was listening to some other people talk about this, but the animal, I never really got the animal, but I think at a fundamental level, because I know that like I hate to say it, I mean, and serial killers like what is it, Dahmer?
Yeah.
But it's the empathy for animals. Like at a very young age, if you have like your kids, or you see people that are mistreating animals or don't from animal abuse have any sort of emotional sentiment from it, you gotta kind of gotta look out.
Yeah, Lucas Magnotta. I'll say the cat killer.
I fucking hate that guy.
Yep.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
is he dead or is he alive?
I hope he's dead. I think he's in prison for sure.
Is that the real? This is a guy that kills
Netflix.
cats.
There's a Netflix thing.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
I will never watch that documentary. I'm glad he's locked
Ace
up.
Ventura moment.
But man, you could not get me to watch that.
He would put kittens in bags and kill full full litters, dude. It's terrible. And then but like he was going to kill somebody and they caught him before he did.
Yeah, that's like one of those. It's a sociopathic trait.
Yep.
That's like one of the earlier ones to spot, right? And I don't know if all serial killers are like that, but like the ones
a lot are,
because they're sociopaths. They have no empathy and they don't really recognize like another individual. So I think that's why the animals were prevalent in all this at just a fundamental level of, hey, this is the most empathetic anyone can be, is to not harm another living.
Empathy is like the biggest through line that this movie I think is running with.
I think so.
I guess I have another take on the animals too. Because like for me personally, like how does your brain process things, right? If you see something that you can kind of parse and be like, oh, I understand that, your brain's going to immediately take it and be like, I've seen that before. That alien is actually like a big gorilla. So like what if like it's also just like that like through line too, where it's like your brain can't comprehend what it's seeing, so it made it so you see it as an animal that you can comprehend.
Right.
It's almost like with the video of her giving the weather report and making those sounds. Josh O'Connor sees it and is like, "What? She's speaking English."
Yeah, it's completely normal.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, just sort of like this sort of like when your brain kind of like goes into shock to like safeguard you from these things that otherwise like you can't even process. And
I got into the it's a through line, but I think her superpower, if you will, it was pulling up memories, but I think it was the most empathetic memories that you could have, or her having, because like the conversation with the officer to get out of it. Yeah, she was like, "You're having a bad day, you don't," and she was helping those
flowers,
right? Like she was helping the dude out, and then like when they start seeing her faces, like Colin Firth saw his dead wife. It was probably the saddest he's ever been, like sharing her pain with her as she was passing, So I think that was ultimately like what she was conveying to people, and like breaking them down emotionally, I guess.
Dude,
but that's what kind of annoyed me.
Where it's like, that is a beat down. Like my mom passed away probably 12 years ago. And like, if I just like walked up knowing that like crazy shit's going on. Yeah. And then I just see like homeboy and then my mom walking at me and it's just like, everything's okay. I'll see you later. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, stunned. Would you at least say stunned?
Stunned would be an understatement for sure. Yeah. But also it's like, now I'm mad. Like, I know that was fake at this point.
That's where I was getting with, because he's like...
Yeah, there's a point in which like it almost feels like a little too clean and uniform for how the power
That's what
works.
I'm fucking talking about. It's like, there's all these... he does. That's another thing that just pisses me off with some of the shit is like, hey, it's in a movie, so we're just gonna say it'll happen.
It's canon,
right? Like, well, it's cool. Like, don't worry. And I'm like sitting there, I was like, then the only guy that got pissed off, like, was like, I never looked at her, so I can chase her. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, there's 50 people surrounding her, and then Colin Firth is like, let her go.
I'm going to chase them into a train and give this movie a reason to have an action scene.
Yes. Well, I mean, we had a couple. Like I said, it was juggling. It's like we're going to be really high intensity, and then we're going to bring it down with some exposition and some like, hey, this is where you're going next. Like I liked Domingo Coleman in this. Like his presence was very calming.
Yeah.
But it was also like
Coleman Domingo.
Did I say Domingo Coleman?
You said Domingo Coleman. That's his brother.
Well, that's an apostrophe. Domingo apostrophe Coleman.
Oh, you're doing it like how they do when they arrest people, and you go on the Facebook for mugshots.
Yes. That's how I'm going to address everyone.
Thank
first
you,
Colin.
Thank you, Parker McLean.
But like I liked him in this thing, but I was also
he's good.
I was just kind of like, man, every time we go here and he's just spouting bullshit now. Like, audience, you've kind of seen that this is like an unbelievable tale. So just trust me when I tell them of where they're going. You don't know what you're seeing, but it'll guide you
up where they need to be.
Yeah,
it seems like we're gonna like kind of go into the performances of it. I do want to touch on like. It does an okay job, I think, of establishing that the world is being set up to kind of like be privy to the narrative theme of empathy, because you've got it on like the brink of World War III.
Yes.
And like everything just kind of feels drab, and like people are just like, there's like a coldness to everything.
The officer pulling her over. I mean, for no reason.
Right.
The
reveal of these aliens could maybe like kickstart this sense of empathy that we've lost over time, whether because of like social isolation or like technological advancement or like capitalism like overstepping itself, like whatever it may be.
It's just becoming a dystopian uniform everywhere you go.
So I think it does like a decent job of that. Again, some of the elements of this movie are at war with it in a way that like doesn't feel like it fits at all, but
that's why like when you see, that's the issue that I have like with the religion piece now. It's like this is too of a overarching theme to just have in there and just kind of touch on it. Like that's where it's almost like anytime you bring up religion and the conflicting and kind of the ponderment,
people's worldview.
And all the being that is, and like all that shit, like that is always a heavy-handed topic to just have it kind of put in with everything else. Feels like
it either needs to be over the entire movie or not in it at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like it can't just be a side piece, like you can't just talk about it a little bit and then like, but it's going to attach in with everything else, and
but you know why they don't do it is because if you do it, the people that don't feel like religion is what they want in a movie, they're immediately just going to be like, I'm out. 100% out. Because I'm not a big religious person anymore. I used to definitely be, but
I'm in the same boat.
It's just one of those things where like after your own experiences too, especially in the paranormal field, it's like it just changes over time. And then getting kind of slapped in the face by it too, where it's like, no, you must pause the questions of the universe. It's like, no, I don't need to.
I mean, I'm going to bring it back up again, but I think that's something that Contact does well, where it's like,
did you how much Contact?
Dude, it's good.
I didn't hate Contact.
It's good.
Okay. I gave it to kind of give my hand. I gave it the same rating I gave this movie, but it's essentially
it's better than this, if you ask me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's doing a better job of like that religious theming and showing like how like annoying this aspect of life can be, and like how it's so kind of invasive to this idea of progress and like finding things out about the universe.
No. They don't. They definitely don't need to be one.
There can be a separation.
But it's also doing a good job of like, defining the difference between religion and faith and like, what that means to people. And like, even if you're a scientist, you can still have faith in something existing, you know?
Yep. I do like that concept too of like, let's parse this idea out here and let's just like break it down a little bit. But like, I think that needed to be a way bigger narrative.
That's what I thought was going to happen. Like, literally, she gets on the phone with that nun, and the nun goes like, on Earth. And she goes, oh. I was like, that's going to be fucking it.
The nun gives her an out. The nun gives the movie an out of like, we don't need to address this anymore.
Oh my God, I rolled my eyes. I was like, God.
And then they just said, that's a great move.
Yep.
Hung up, nothing.
All right.
That's funny too, though, because like we've had that conversation on the podcast. Like me and Riley, way back, like 6 years ago. We were like,
guys got some deep shit.
Yeah, we're like, like, what if like religion is basically based off of like, like extraterrestrials rather than it is like us being the beings?
Yeah.
I think, I listened to some of your guys' Black Vault Files episodes, and I think I do remember you guys touching on the idea. I think it was in your third Black Vault Files episode where you introduced the concept of like, maybe a big reason why all this is like kept such a secret is because like humanity's brain would collapse in on itself in terms of like their existence in the universe.
So you guys have had this
their relationship with God.
Screen.
Yeah, but then in the exact same vein too, like as I've grown and thought about it too, where it's like if there is a God type being and like we are seeing like entities in the spiritual realm and whatnot, well then why wouldn't we see like aliens and shit? So like the people that are like screaming demons, like what if you're just seeing an extraterrestrial like spirit at that point? Like stuff like that where it's like those concepts I don't think are that far-fetched anymore.
No, well, and that's a funny way of talking about it because you open up the universe a little bit more, right?
A little bit more.
Right? Like you can start kind of like
just kind of crack the door ever so slightly.
There's a little bit more of a ponderment of like, and I like you talked about with the animals, like, you're looking at a fucking robin, you think it's a robin.
But actually that robin is like a fucking floating alien head that's just like a little body.
And if that's the case, it does open up a little bit more thought behind it. Yeah, I'm trying to. I had something right there too that I was going to mention, but
my bad.
No, it's a great thought. And that's the stuff that you like to think about. And I don't know. I mean, if that is, I don't think that's what he was trying to go for, though.
No, I don't either.
Yeah,
if it was wild.
Yeah, fucking, he's back.
Yeah, he's so back. Don't let him die.
So we were talking a little bit before about Coleman Domingo and like his performance and how like he's good in the movie, and I think overall I don't hate any of the performances in this. If anything, like the performance from Josh O'Connor feels a little bit too anonymous.
Yes.
Like he almost gets a little lost in
phoned in at some points. It feels like
in this movie, like
1000%.
Especially having just watched him come off of Wake Up Dead Man, where I think he's pretty fucking great in, where he's playing a priest and they're talking a lot about religious themes in that movie.
That's funny that you say that, because that was my thought with this too.
Where it's like, okay, so this is possible to like give this performance in a way that like frames it as like, oh, we're touching on a theme, but also like giving the pathos and the ethos of like this guy who's involved in this sort of thing. And in this movie, it's just like, are you made of styrofoam? Like, is there anything deeper going on in here besides like your actual physical struggle to get from point A to point B?
With his character?
Your like relationship that like is barely touched on really at all, because like half the time she's being possessed by this weird British bearded man. Like, I don't really see the draw of your performance in this movie. I think we can easily say that Emily Blunt is the best performance in this movie, right?
Yeah, strong. Very strong.
Like, I don't know if you agree, Mac. Like, I think she's doing
She's good. I
think she's doing a pretty good job, especially for someone who like is trying to sell the believability of this. And,
agreed.
Yes.
We can discuss like, her overall kind of like fit into this environment and like, oh, how well does the like Emily Blunt like mold with the goal of what they're going with this? But I think she does a decent job.
She does. I'm not gonna knock on her. I mean, she has a lot of different emotional parts to play in all this, and it didn't really ring true to me with her character when they approach the house and she says, I don't want to be your Messiah or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, her emotional burden that she carries right now. One, we've got this power that we don't know how this is impacting our brain or what we can do, right? Am I being overtaken or am I guiding this? And then you have, I just want to go back to my normal life. I was going to get promoted to news anchor, and now all of a sudden I'm on the run from a fucking secret government agency.
You feel the like overwhelming frenetic energy of that like carry throughout like most of her performance.
And her on the train, it kind of annoyed me with the hyperventilating, kind of anxiety induced. Like, but then you think about like, oh fuck, man, if I was in that, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
It's understandable. Right? It clashes so much with Josh O'Connor being such a nothing burger in this movie for me.
I was pissed because Challengers is one we kind of had different views on, but he's good in Challengers.
He's great in Challengers. He's great in Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah.
It's like, I know there's something in here where you could tap into like the energy of this guy, and you're just not utilizing him the way that you should be.
I don't know if he was like, hey, you're mysterious and you have no idea what's going on in your life.
Yeah, if that's what they wanted him to portray, but like I didn't love it either.
It was just odd. It was
and like his relationship with his girlfriend, who is
we don't know if they were. Do we know if they were together?
I mean, they were having sex.
You can also be friends and shag, I guess.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen
like Mac and I.
so many fucking reels where it's like, is it weird for friends to like ride on it backwards? And it's like, what the fuck is this trend?
Is it weird that
Gen
I trip
Z.
and I accidentally suck my bro off?
Yeah,
But I don't
right?
mind it.
Like, what's up?
Yeah, hey, how's it going, Mac? Come on over.
That's what. So like what happened was going on with them because. Like I said, you know, in the beginning too, it's just, where's Jane? Where's Jane? I want Jane back. Who's Jane? Is this like his wife? Is this just a you know?
I thought it was his daughter for a second.
It's his stepsister. Don't
before
get
yeah,
it
that's
twisted.
right. Yeah, so you know,
But, I mean, they could have done so much with that dynamic and like maybe made his character in turn more interesting if they didn't spend like half the time like making her possessed and like having these weird scenes between her and Colin Firth, who like I don't even think Colin Firth is bad in the movie. I think he's doing what's being asked of him.
Yep.
But those scenes just like really felt incongruous with like what the goal of the movie was.
he's menacing to a point, and then they neuter him at the end, and I think that's what loses it
just
for
like
me.
doesn't fucking matter at the end.
like sit down and just fucking.
Well,
Like I like the idea of what that
let
scene
them
is.
talk. It's like, dude, you tried to spend this whole movie like
Yeah, I
killing
do.
them.
I do also agree with what you're gonna say, Tyler. With it's like I like the concept of it.
Yeah, the idea of it's fun where he's like kind of possessing them, but also like having a conversation with them. Like that's
I didn't get any of that either.
that's shit that I would normally like if it was like integrated well. But it's like, okay, this is like taking us away from the stuff that it feels like Spielberg cares about more.
Yeah.
And it's clearly evident with the way this movie ends, where he just sits there at the end and is like, "What can I do?" You know,
He
they
turned
got
into
me.
a cuck. He literally turned into a cuck.
It's true. Yeah.
He's like, cool, do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, he's in the cuck chair in the corner and is like, "Yeah, do your thing. I'm just here to watch, man."
Like whatever.
This is the dark side of Spiely. We talking about Backrooms? You guys rent Disclosure Day?
Well, I mean, have you seen
No, it was actually
Fablemans?
him.
Yeah.
Have you seen Fablemans? That movie's about his dad getting cucked by Seth Rogen. Like, it all makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
I haven't
Oh my
actually
God,
seen
it. Just
it.
pops up like it's
not-
subconscious.
It's not too much of a spoiler. His dad gets cucked by Seth Rogen. So
Amazing.
It's like
Yeah.
the whole plot.
yeah, basically the whole plot.
Wild.
He's like, hey, I like making movies. Like, this camera stuff is fun. Oh, I caught my mom looking at my dad's friend a certain way.
Yeah.
Weird.
That movie's weird too.
I like it.
But
I like it.
O'Connor, like I'm thinking about him. If we're giving
Yeah.
Emily Blunt credit for the emotional burden, we also have to look at his character then and the fact that he's got to deliver the truth. And this is the greatest thing mankind's ever seen. So we might not see someone that is readily available to another person in terms of relationship or talking about X, Y, or Z, because he's got a sole focus. So maybe that's what he was going for.
I guess, but like, it just felt like the script was underserving him and not giving him enough room to really like have anything for us to
Well,
latch
they
onto.
erased his memory before he was 19, and then he went to prison, and then became a doctor. So, like,
All
what more
the
do you
interesting
need?
shit about him is like stuff that we don't see, and it's like, okay, this would maybe work in like a certain type of framework,
What
but not this one.
Did he get a? Oh, I guess he could read math, right? Like you read The House of Leaves. He can read.
Yeah, like I can
Yeah.
read House of Leaves. He can read math. It's like
Yeah.
another language to him.
Yeah, so that I was like, how did he become a doctor too? But I guess if you could read math like that, then yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I did find that too a little bit interesting, like how they both got endued with like different things. Because
Yeah.
I originally went into it thinking that they were both just like half alien, half man.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of suspecting too.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be like Emily Blunt's dad is a bleep blorp, and he came down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seth Rogen gets introduced.
Seth Rogen gets cucked by an alien. It's his turn to get cucked.
straight up. No, but I mean, like, it definitely like it added one element to me that I did enjoy, where I was like, okay, I do like that there are keys for a different lock.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I thought there's subverting expectations because like she does the clicking thing and it kind of leads into like, oh, they're gonna reveal her, right? And
Yeah,
the
or that
runners, like
every person on the world has been
we're
touched.
the only 2 aliens here or whatever. Like, I gotta save you, you know. So like that was an interesting component with it, and
it almost makes their characters MacGuffins in a way that's like there's like some interesting thing here.
MacGuffins. That's a good way. I don't know if you want your protagonists to be MacGuffins, but sure.
Not normally, but in this case where it's like so focused on like these are the 2 people that are at the focal point of this thing that we're about to reveal, and like you're building up that sense of like, oh man, like when they get together everything's gonna come together, and it like doesn't quite feel that.
It doesn't feel as climactic when they finally do meet each other as it should. Where it's not like, you know, like, I'm not saying like you need to show like sparks and fucking, you know, like explosions and shit, but like more than just like a hey.
How did he she picked him up on the side of no, she went into the trailer.
She went into the trailer
and was like, I know you.
I was cool with dude. Then I didn't have 3 of them. Like,
I didn't hate the way that she introduced herself because she like just casually walks in and they all look at her and it's like, oh,
what
okay.
the fuck?
She fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi at half the airport.
Yeah,
like that's what I was like. I am suspending disbelief here, but you know, like, come on, make it a little bit more realistic. Like everything else, not to say realistic, but it's practical. It's effectively done. We don't have CGI going on.
Yeah,
like it's somewhat grounded, right?
Save for some of the animal stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're animals. You know, it's not. They didn't have like it wasn't a still life walking.
It wasn't
around.
the Loch Ness monster flopping through the house.
Yeah,
Like,
you know,
what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, and that's why like. I guess that's some like always real world shit that bothers me is where like I know that we're trying to make a realistic depiction of this other, not even maybe it is our universe, you know, but like, like make some of this shit just actually feel believable then.
Yeah.
And that's what takes me out then too. It's like I'm willing to go in as far as I need to, but like when you start doing stuff where it's like a lot of this is going to be grounded, but we're going to have some other things over here that are kind of like otherworldly, you know, and it just didn't feel like it jived real well.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid is what I am thinking of right now when it came to like what I would have liked from this movie.
Yes.
Just like tight conspiracy thriller. Maybe there's like a little bit of mystery going on.
Yeah.
But then the long-toothed nature of this thing and like wanting to kind of touch on all these concepts is like really what does it in. Did you guys know that Eve Hewson, who plays Jane in the film, do you know who her dad is?
No.
Everett Hewson.
Her dad is
Bono.
Bono.
Oh, Bono?
Yep. Paul David Hewson,
Fucking
aka
nepotism, man.
Bono.
aka Bono.
I
Yeah.
wish I was a Nepo baby.
You'd be sitting in a podcast room right now just with gold everywhere, though.
Yeah. He wouldn't be talking to us right now, that's for sure. He'd be like, damn, I'm in a hot tub.
Throwing money down at us.
I'd be
Here's
like,
another
so
dollar.
Joe.
Yeah.
Calling Steven Spielberg to tell him how he can make a better movie next time is what he's doing.
It's not that I hated it. Because, like, it was fine as a movie in a whole.
Yeah.
But, like, it just... I had much, much more reasonable expectations than I thought I should have, I guess, when I walked away from it.
Well, and, you know, honestly, this is way more up your alley, and these ask questions that you're probably curious about or have contemplated before, right? Mm-hmm. And it's, I think, you know, not to kind of separate us, but, like, for me, you know, I believe in aliens, and I'm like, the universe is wide open, right? So, like, we get to this point of like, hey, let's think about what this means for society. I'm like, people should think like me. I believe in it. They should believe. I don't know what's so far-fetched about this, right? But like, I haven't had those like contemplative thoughts about like, what would this do to this particular group or these people or how our minds would be blown. But like, you had a little bit more of, it meant a little bit more to you, I'm assuming, going to see this. Cause it's like, here's some questions I've had and I'm curious how it gets out on screen, right?
Yeah. Because we've done, I think when we sat down and we did all the number crunching, I think we did 75 interviews of different people that do exactly what we do and do like investigations and like throughout, you know, either in America or even outside of America and whatnot. And we've asked every single person if they believe in the extraterrestrial life and whatnot. And everybody basically has the same exact like similarity answers where it's like, yeah, I do. But nobody can come to the concise answer of like, what they think that life is,
or
like why they think it would show itself to us. And like I think that's where
that shit I haven't thought about.
And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on, where it's like, well, if we are a 4 billion like person planet, who the fuck, why would they come here to see anybody on this planet?
Yeah.
For one, why would they take anything other than the water that we have as resources? And even then, like, if they're so advanced, why are they showing themselves to us? Why are they crashing? Like those type of stupid questions.
Yeah.
But then I think like when you really like parse it down, and for me, for real, it's like, I don't think it's necessarily that people can't handle the idea of aliens. I think that it changes the course of our next, like, you know, like if we look
blip or like our next set
if we
of
look
moves,
back at like how
evolution.
the Dark Ages moved into like, you know, like the Bronze Age moved into like, you know, what we basically are seeing now, and how fast everything's advancing.
Yep.
Like, does that next thing when we see aliens jettison us into like not living on Earth anymore?
Yeah.
Like that type of like acceleration.
Do
and
we
I
get
think
a set of technology from them?
Exactly.
Or does something happen where we discover?
Right.
And I wonder if that's where it's at, where it's like more or less like, it's not that the people can't handle it, it's that the infrastructure, everything that's all around would like just not be able to like take on that as it is right now. And if the wrong hands got on it or were pulled out of power, then there it is.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, do you think that he in some ways trying to touch on some of that? Because like I don't
maybe.
Well, yeah, I think so, because there's like this
Ward
idea
X,
of like
The war theme throughout,
Yeah.
very sprinkled through, kinda.
yeah,
because there's this idea that like if we can figure out a way to either like, you know, harness alien technology, or like if we introduce this thing that like corrects the course of mankind, we can maybe save ourselves. I think that's something that this movie is like sort of touching on a little bit, not too much, in a way that's like interesting.
It's like a subtle like tap on it. And
Yeah,
it's like
that's-
you should have really hit it.
But the way
it's-
you're talking about it, I'm like, I would have much preferred
That.
that element of like if the wrong hands or what this will do for evolution or humanity, right? Like
Well,
next steps.
There's a movie that I think
Contact.
can scratch that itch. It's Interstellar.
Yeah.
Where like Interstellar is this sort of deal of like, hey, we're kind of fucking ourselves.
In a slight way.
because they don't really dive in with the supernatural or the alien, you know, more of an
the
extraterrestrial,
extraterrestrial.
right? Like it's more of
They do a little bit later on, but
okay.
And
but they
it's a
don't know that that's
stretch.
what it is.
Yeah,
until
it's a big
certain
stretch.
point.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and then yeah. Anyways, yes.
Anyways,
Fuck. Interstellar's not bad, but maybe I'll revisit it.
I love Interstellar.
Yeah, but so that's now going into this film. Is that what you were curious about? Were you thinking like, are they
Yes.
going to tap into this?
I really thought it was going to be more about, you know, like the disclosure of the information, you know, like seeing, you know, like the groups of people, like, you know, like at least like a 30-minute segment of like them showing like people's reactions and then like the government's reactions and then, you know, like the fallout.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
like
You could almost frame this as like a political thriller. If,
Yeah, that's
like,
what
Dude,
that's what we're talking about.
I really thought it was going to be, and I was like, I'm so here for that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so fine with it. And it wasn't anything close to that. And it's fine that it wasn't, because it's its own entity, but like,
Right.
it just feels like it could have been so much more clean.
Yeah.
Like,
Or-
it's
yeah,
muddy.
Like take a couple different themes on there and let's really focus on like what this group that's not, I don't want to say group being impacted, but this idea, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's like power, evolution, like they throw in religion a little bit, and I guess it's they attach humanity in there a little bit, and how will this impact people? But like I guess we're all saying is it's just clean answers. That's why the fucking ending too. I guess I have the biggest problem with it. It's because like everything gets answered, and then it's like we're just gonna tell you guys
So
anyways.
it's tied up, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like, it is and isn't.
I mean, again, it goes back to my feelings on a lot of what this movie's doing, and that I like the idea of it, and I like sort of like the attempt at what they're doing at the end with like, oh, you know, we've disclosed it, here's all this footage, and like you're just kind of like nakedly seeing the news go through this feed of different alien videos and like encounters and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is like kind of interesting, and I'm like leaning forward a little bit more in my seat, but it's a culmination of something that was just like, okay, this is just it. This is just like the end
This
point.
is my payoff.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, well, okay. So the other issue I had with this too And I don't know. I mean, I see a bunch of different videos and stuff of, what is it? What are they called now? It's UFOs, but it's UAP.
Oh, UAPs, yeah.
UAPs, right?
Yep.
And like
aerial phenomena.
Yes, and is it AI? Is this real? Right? And I don't know. I mean, like if you've gone through and did research, or like you can verify or say like, no, it's all bullshit. Like not to say bullshit, but like that's AI, right? This isn't on record, or no one has. You could verify this. But because I've seen all that before, I'm like, now what I'm seeing here as the climax of the film, I'm like, yeah, but this already exists in like present day, like, and every individual on social media has at least some thought of being provoked through an image of a UAP or a UFO or some form of Area 51 where they've had that thought already of like questioning, right?
Can I bring something up to do with the ending and the way that it's filmed that I think is worth talking about, and it brings me back to like my idea of like, is Spielberg being purposeful about some of what's going on in this movie, like his intentions, or is it just completely accidental? So they make it a point, I feel like, to cut to different people watching the footage just on their phones.
Yeah.
They're just like staring at the screens on their phones. Because before cell phones, you would get like a similar scene in an alien movie and they'd be looking at like the big screens in Times Square. They'd be looking at the TVs and like the display windows or whatever. But now everybody's got a screen and they're just like staring at it like zombies. And I am wondering if that is Spielberg attempting to commentate on this idea that if we introduce this idea of aliens existing and we have like definitive proof of it, how much of a dent is that actually going to leave culturally in this landscape in which like crazy shit kind of just happens all the time?
Yeah.
Anytime that there's like, I feel a new sort of drop of UFO information or like alien files, or like the government's like, hey, here's all this stuff happening. People sort of just like kind of roll their eyes now and are like, yeah, but these aren't the Epstein files. Like, let's get to actually what's happening on planet Earth and like the issues we need to address. And I'm almost wondering if like some of that is intentionally being touched on with Spielberg including those scenes in this movie, or if it's just completely like, yeah, this is the way we just consume this information now, and I'm just happening to show it this way. Like, I don't know. How much of that do you think is intentional?
Well, I guess I gotta hear you. Dumb it down for me just for a second, because I'm trying to think of what you're asking.
So like you would get scenes in movies where like people find out about aliens and they see footage of it on the news, and they're freaking out and they're like, oh, we don't know what to do. It's like
they're
the end
in
of the world.
Streets and they're all like, oh my God.
And now we are seeing a version of that where it's just people looking at their phones and they're just kind of staring. And they're not really reacting to it. They're not like panicking. They're not fearful. It's just like, there's like a captivation to it that almost feels like
you could go on Imager and fucking see anything you wanted to.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to answer it or not.
Go for it.
I thought it was very intentional with the media and Emily Blunt being on TV, not necessarily to reach audiences, but I think another one of the themes within this is that we have such a disdain for what is true, like what's the truth or what's facts and not facts, that there's almost this, he's trying to get back into the sense of we have to be genuine and we have to be principled on like when someone tells you something, right? Like we have to get back to the point where that was believable, So when it comes to like the message, I guess I took it in the sense that they were doing this on the media as another play on. We have to get back to, since we are showing you on here, you need to take this as fact. So I don't know if that goes into that or not. And maybe, between showing people on phones and all that stuff, I think it was more so in the message that we have to get back to the sense that journalism actually meant something, media actually meant something, and that the news that we were giving out to, I mean, essentially everyone has to mean something, and that's, at least that's what I took from it, and I intentional with people on the phones or how they were consuming it. I don't know about that. I took it more so as in the sense that we're starting, when you have the audience or the eyes of millions and millions of viewers, what you tell them right? And like we said, we kind of talked about cults, right? Like where it's if people don't understand, they can be easily swayed. If we get to a point where we can't trust what people are giving us, that's when you're going to start to lose more of society too. So I think it was intentionally done that this was on like a media broadcast and CNN and all that shit, like whatever you watch. But I think it was like playing into empathy as well with some of these core principles that we've had in life.
Maybe like humanity reckoning with itself.
Yeah, it's
we're going to show this by like having people just like stare at their phones in a way where it's like, oh, maybe this is having an impact. Yeah.
They're not scrolling anymore, right? Like that's when you know, like, because a lot of those movies you watch, people, it's always the scroll, right? Like, all right, I watched this, I click next, and now I think it's always impactful when they show someone on a phone and they're just watching something because it grabbed their attention.
You could almost have like a more cynical, like Yorgos Lanthimos version of like an ending to this movie where people are just like going about their business and they don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Like,
and they're like, who fucking cares? I knew it. I already knew it was real.
Where it's like there is like an intentionality in like how still everyone's being while they're all looking at their phones, but at the same time, there's like a weird eeriness to it with the fact of everyone just like being in their own little world. Like, I don't know. That just like struck me in a way where it's like, I don't know if this was on purpose, but I feel like
it's intentional to me.
Yeah,
it's like Spielberg, man. I do think he's still a good director. There was
like a good like 30 seconds of that scene in particular where it was like crowds of 20 to 15 to 30 people, all on, every single one of them had their phones in their hands. They were watching it like and not moving. And I think that was, like you said, intentional. Like I think for me to see that too, it's like, I think I read something like somewhere where it's like one in every, or not one, it's like 90% of every 100 people or something have a phone. Like when you do like 100 people, like 90% of those 100 people would have a phone.
Yep.
And it's like when you really start like breaking it down, it's like that's a lot of fucking people that have phones that are readily open to probably
making
seeing
their
all of that information and making their own judgment calls on what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I do think it turned into a little bit more. It felt like a group think, but
welcome to the tangent train. Choo choo.
That's this podcast in a nutshell.
Oh my god, yeah,
you would not believe it. I think
our ideas bounce everywhere. Of course,
yeah. They
this movie
do.
Makes your brain fucking bounce like a beach ball.
Well, there's good parts and there's good elements in there.
Tons of good parts. And I won't take that away from it whatsoever. Right. I think it's a great movie if you enjoy action and you don't need the story to like match it.
If you enjoy the like kind of Hallmark Spielbergisms that you are maybe looking for in some of the movies that he's putting out now, then sure, you're going to have a fun time. But I just... What Mac was saying about seeing the movie on its own and like kind of separating every other element from it and leaving it in its own like kind of siloed version of itself. It's just, I'm not really going to think about this too much after leaving the theater. Like, and if I do, it's going to be like more issues that kind of come up in my mind of like things that rub me a bit the wrong way.
Well, if I ever think about, I'm going to probably think about you bringing up some other points about like, not necessarily are they real and what's it, but like what are the consequences from it? Like what's the current, like that didn't even...
That's where I drive like most of my points home, where it's like that's where the most interesting stuff happens, if you ask me. We all know all the lead up to this shit. We all know what aliens are. We all know that they're like there was a disclosure thing.
Yeah.
Like, give me what the aftermath is.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
And that would have made this thing a hell of a lot better.
Did you guys like the alien designs?
No.
The standard kind of like green big-eyed men.
It was too standard.
That's right. Like
they could have done so much more with it.
You got your creative genius, man. Like just do whatever you want. You can make them look like a still life and have them talk. And that would have been more like, it literally looked like you walked into Halloween USA and just saw it and said, you know what? Let's just keep it simple.
On too,
I was surprised that they not only showed us pretty quickly into the movie a video of Colin Firth torturing one of them. I was surprised that they showed us what they looked like at all. I agree. From that point in the movie, and it's like, Okay, so we just kind of saw it, and there's no real intrigue to what these guys look like or like what their deal is. Like, I guess they can kind of shapeshift into animals.
It
maybe.
just feels inferred. Like, that's how it felt, where it's like, you should just know this.
Yeah, sure. Right. This is like the standard alien look, and that's what you are expecting,
That's
right?
what you paid for.
We're not going to give you anything more of that to like kind of chew on or like think over. Maybe like have the design be like an intentional thing with like this idea of empathy that you're trying to get across. And it's like, okay, like these are just things that I could draw when I was 7 years old.
Straight from the vine.
That's what I'm right. Like it was
Spielberg going old reliable. Let me get the old models from Close Encounters and dust them off
real quick too. I mean, if I don't know where we're at. Oh yeah, we're juicing it up.
We cooking.
If Riley was here, this would be probably a half hour longer. I promise.
No,
Mostly.
it's
if
how
not
they
an
always
hour.
go. But like weirdest scenes in the film. Can I just say number one, Colin Firth torturing an alien? Like that kind of just
wild.
Didn't that?
It just felt so out of place at first, where I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
We're gonna go. The end of this thing is just be alien spacecrafts, and like we're gonna show you a real one. But like at the very beginning, like let's just show Colin Firth waterboarding this thing. I was like, what are we talking? Like, where are we gonna go? Because that's kind of like insane, just right there, right?
So,
like, isn't that the most mind blowing thing that you'd see out of all the imagery with the aliens? What was crazier, Colin Firth? What was he like slapping it or like?
Yeah, he was beating on it and shit.
Yeah.
But like the other thing is like, if Homeboy can listen and understand them, the whole fucking time, he was listening to it fucking scream and stuff, and it's like, did you not tell anybody that you understood what the fuck it was saying? Like, is it just speaking English to
you?
you?
Are you talking about Josh O'Connor?
Yeah, where it's like, brother,
I didn't even think
because he said, "I've watched all of it." When he showed Jane what he had in the backpack,
that's
he
not
goes,
funny,
"I've
but,
watched
like,
all of it."
Do you ever watch The Boys?
Yes.
Yeah, you know when the octopus?
Yes.
When that's Homeland, like that. I immediately was like, oh man, that is terrible for Josh O'Connor. For me, I just hear clicking noises, but for him, like,
yeah, he hears all of it and he just internalizes all of it.
oh
and now
dude,
we're
no
just there.
wonder he played it like fucking just war man, like Denzel
just
man
dead
on fire.
inside.
Yeah,
I heard my brothers.
yeah, that's kind of wild.
I never got the sense that he actually like cared that deeply for the
not even a
aliens
little bit.
and
Well, he was pissed off of what they did to him. 'Cause,
But like he
he
never really outwardly like showed it.
Yeah.
Like he said a few things, but like,
to me, it felt like I'm trying to think of there's a couple movies where you're on a journey, right? And it's not necessarily one that you want to partake in, but it's necessary for, not to say the story, but this is like Mankind, right? So it was like more so of like, I have to do this for everyone else, not necessarily for them, right? And to tell, but it's more so of like that's where it played into state media and all that shit too, of what I was talking about, of like, they're hiding the story, the government's behind this. We have to tell the truth, right? And it's like this cover up, this like things that we're not divulging. So like, that's where it always felt to me of him just being like, I've been tasked. I kind of understand. I don't want to do it, but like, it's not I'm not like saying he did great or anything. I thought he was a wet blanket, but I do kind of get what he was going for. And
agreed.
But
that's more so like a script issue than a performance issue. I
how
think.
about this too? What if we get Josh O'Connor with Jane? She's watching the alien and the thing's like, and Jane's like, I don't know, and he just like slams. He's like, I can't take it. Like that would have been more effective, right?
Or just like show that like he's actually affected by the things that they're communicating, and like it reaches more than just him kind of looking like
all he had to say was it was asking for help.
Yes, I mean anything.
Just give like a little nugget there, and
we
just
would have. I mean, if you hear that too, you're like, how does he know, right? And then it makes sense.
And now you're building into the fact that he's got powers too, and it's like, what the fuck? You missed a perfect hit. I
mean,
perfect.
They did it. I don't know. It was kind of, not to say, like, I am empathetic too. So like that, I was like watching. I was like, I don't know. It's still like, okay, this has never happened, or at least
don't
I know of.
hurt nobody.
But it felt like he was like, I'm going to show you a snuff film here. And like,
dude, that was the other thing that kind of like was jarring about it, where it's just like
the gravity of everything. Yeah.
Here's a wrestling scene. Here's a normal scene. Here's a normal scene. Here's a fucking waterboarding scene of aliens. Here's a normal scene.
It almost would have been more effective and like really kind of like showed the craft of sound design if like you don't see the video.
Yes.
You just see them reacting to it.
We've that's like Cold in July or right? Like where like I've got to, you know what I'm saying? But like you get the build up with it, and then all of a sudden you can hear what's happening and you can't see it, so it lets you play, but you also get that sense of like this is really bad. Yeah, that I guess I didn't even think about that, but that is such a wild scene just to have right there in the first 30 minutes.
It's like, here you go.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. Like, obviously it's heavy for what it is. But then you just kind of sit back and you're like, the next 25 minutes are fucking slowed down for what now?
That was Emily Blunt after that. I think we get introduced to her.
Yeah, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of moments where this movie just kind of grinds itself into a halt, and just
the pacing.
It restarts itself.
Pacing, editing, probably. I mean, that's unfortunately probably what he was going for. But yeah, the editing in this, it's so
clunk, clunk,
clunk. It got to the point where I think we're on the train, and I was just thinking to myself, this movie's got to be
almost over
soon, right?
Yeah, I kept saying the same thing.
And then I had like 40 minutes left. I was like, Jesus Christ. It was,
I kept hoping there was like a 25-minute fucking credit. Like the credits are gonna be 25 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I was like, please don't tell me this.
Pad out the credits,
longer, dude.
Yeah, that would have been something.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching it. I never got to the point where I was like bored or like ready for it to be. I don't want to say done. I guess I was confused the whole time because of like we're talking.
I was confused.
Action espionage, right? We've got the secret government agency. I mean, there's kind of like a Stranger Things thing going on where you're kind of like, all right, how's this going to play out? Like. And then I just kept thinking like, all right, she's going to get on the news at some point, right? And I was like, well, they got to have like a denouement, or maybe the climax is like they get in there and then I get like, I was just thinking to myself, like, they don't end it like this. And then she says, listen.
And then it ends.
And I went, God.
The bad guys show up and they just can't stop them. Like, that's it. Like,
dude, cut the power. Fucking give up.
And
that's my thing. He just sits down.
What? These alien things too, it's like you can control people, but you also can harness energy. Like it was just so like
where the fuck did they get the alien from? The whole fucking time we're just like like he says nothing about like the asset. Like I think he said the asset was stolen, and we think it's the rocks.
Yeah, right.
That they're using the whole fucking movie.
That was right there.
And the next thing you know, they're rolling out like a wheelchair with like a dome around it. Yeah, and you're like,
I think Coleman Domingo does say something to Colin Firth.
Does he? I might have just missed it.
He might have said something like, "You're going to meet him, or the world's going to see it."
Something like that.
That might be it. I do remember him saying they'll see it or something.
Yeah, because I wasn't when they rolled them out. I wasn't okay. When they rolled them out, I was like
giggling.
Yeah, right. Well, I was like, dude. They they do the Emily Blunt thing, and then it's like the reindeer turns into the deer turns into the thing, and I sat there. I just was like, this is the best they can do.
It's
and then
E.T. fucking rehashed.
Yes. And then they're like, the world's going to see him. And I was just thinking like, I'm going to just see a bigger version of what I just saw. Like it's.
And then you did.
Yeah. It's like I'm not
blown.
No.
I was really hoping to get blown.
Yeah.
I was not.
There's a lot about this movie that I think can just be distilled into how much of the old Spielberg tricks work still, and I don't think a lot of them hold up in the same way that we like kind of currently expect movies to be, or like that we want to see from movies.
When you say tricks, what do you? Because I really think the action sequences are done well. No,
the action scenes are good. Like I'm not complaining about that. I'm just talking about
same cinema, like the cinematography. Like he'll do the same action shot though of like. It'll be like a wide angle lens, like pulled back shot, and then it'll be really up close, and then it'll be like really jarring for a second, and then it'll be like a spinny shot or something.
I guess I'm speaking on like the impact of moments and like the impact that a certain moment is supposed to have that maybe doesn't quite resonate with us anymore because we're so used to seeing this sort of thing. Like when they roll the alien out, and like that's supposed to be an impactful moment, or like
Spielberg's just sitting there going like.
I think certain like words and phrases
or
too.
Her like looking at the birds, him looking at the deer, and it's like, okay, some of this is like a little bit lost because the CGI isn't that good, but also it's like, I don't really quite understand what it is you are trying to get across with these moments, and therefore they're a little bit lost on me. The like flashback stuff where they're like kids and they come to the Hansel and Gretel house. It's like, okay, I can tell that this is supposed to be like a meaningful, sentimental moment that it just
plays a little into whimsy.
It plays a little bit into whimsy, in which I feel like a movie would benefit being a little bit more cold and sterile.
Right. I think the cold and sterile needed, because like she apparently when she was a kid saw that cardinal, right? Well, when the cardinal flies into her house, her boyfriend sees it. Yeah. It's a real fucking bird. So like, how does that have anything to do with her now like immediately getting alien powers back? Like, you see robins every fucking day you walk around outside. So like, why did it not happen then? Like, what is this?
That's another movie right there that you make of like her drifting from disassociating.
And like, I get to like, it's supposed to be like a meaningful shot. And like, that would have been if it was like the first time I had seen that shot done in a movie. But that's like the 18th time I've seen that done in a movie. And then I just started like picking it apart way harder, because it's like, I've seen it done. I know what's coming. I know what this is.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that's kind of all of a sudden you start associating with other things that were actually better.
Yeah. You know? And I'm not saying like you can't not reuse things like that, because that's totally fine. Like, that's cinematography in its own. It's like you're supposed to use stuff like that. Like, but
what you were saying though, the moments, right? And him, I really just think these older directors are getting out of touch.
Very much.
I think that's really just what
out of touch and sentimental in a way. It's like, how can I hold on to the thing that I used to be known for? Like. Yeah. These moments in cinema that like resonated with people in a way that like made them feel something.
But that's what he got good at, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you can't. It's like taking a prize fighter and saying you can't do your haymaker anymore. I would say it's more so if they throw the haymaker, but like, dude, you're 30 pounds lighter and you bench 100 pounds less. Like, it's just not as effective as what you think it is.
Find a cooler jab,
right? You know, or just recognize, man, maybe I step out of the game. Like I got done with this thing and I was like, I want to see how much money it's pulling in, because I want this thing to fail. I hate to say it like that, but like, we can't have these guys keep showing up doing the same shit. Maybe, and I feel bad for him, because maybe it is a good movie. I don't know, but like,
I hope it finds some people's niches. Because, like, it's not mine. I really thought it would hit my mark, but it wasn't mine.
It's funny. Like, I wasn't sure, coming in. Like, Kyle kind of gave me the background and everything, and, like, just how involved you are and, like, how much you've done in your line of work, But, like, hearing you pose some of these questions and all this stuff, like, it feels like kind of target audience, right? And for you, getting something brought onto the big screen that, like, you're very passionate about, And that's where it really... It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I would say it's very unfortunate, because there's also like just the aspect of like, if you use like modern day disclosure stuff that's out there and just utilized even like a fucking handful of it in that movie itself to make it more realistic in the time frame that we're looking at too, where it's like, now we're looking at like military tech shooting down other things that really happened. Yeah, and it's like you just really wanted to go on like a love story thing, and like, like it, I don't know. The espionage is great, but I really thought that they could have taken it to a whole nother level with like let's really dive into extraterrestrials and like disclosing.
Well, like if they would have gave Ward X a little bit more of why are we doing this, right? Like if it was like more of like Colin Firth, like I like one of those.
Explain them a little more.
Like I wanted him to do the thing and then come out and like have like a nosebleed, so you start to see him kind of like weakening from it. Like I don't think it's a spoiler, but like Gary Oldman in the Book of Eli. Yeah, there's that chase, right, for power, and like you could see him weakening though with him trying to get it. I wanted that to happen to Colin Firth, and at some point, like in a moment of weakness, like give us, do you understand what we could do with, but like it just felt like, hey, we gotta keep this a secret the whole time, and that was another. Like, you guys are making like billions of dollars just to not say something like that. Also feels just like lame.
There's also the idea that it's a little strange that this like private company is the ones that are like the most like antagonistic. It could have easily just been like a government entity.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to explain it. That just like
The fucking
shadow
Pentagon.
government,
Yeah.
the Pentagon. Like
That's what I thought it was until they said. I think it was like the third time they said that, and I was like, "This is a private company."
yeah, like have it be like the sort of one battle after another thing where it's like it's just like the government that's after
Well,
them.
there you go.
And it's not like DEFCON 12 when they're like, hey, our fucking national secrets are out. Like, and they're running around.
Well, they had, the one guy came in there and he said, "Get your shit together," and walked out. Like, I don't.
But it's like, if that's all that is, it's like, bro, so like, we're just like an unsanctioned, like, third party. Like,
It kind of also
fuck?
that ties into the stakes, right? Like, okay, how high are these stakes?
They
Because
didn't
he keeps
feel
dropping
high.
DOD, he's dropping the governments. And I'm like, we're really not feeling any sort of pressure on
We
him to
haven't
get
seen
this.
any of them.
I also didn't feel any sort of intimidation from the villains at all.
No.
In that, like,
No.
it felt like a struggle for them to do anything.
Cartoony.
And the things that they did do, they just like barely almost made it or didn't make it. And it's like, there's like no real threat that I'm getting from
That's what I'm
this.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, it feels cartoony, and that's why. So I guess that's another reason why the whole Emily Blunt thing really pissed me off, because they have no backbone. They've shown all of this force and power, but they really do nothing. And then she walks in there and mesmerizes them, and I'm like, you could have taken something any more fluffy and made it fluffier than this,
I know.
right?
I know.
Like,
Where it felt like it needed teeth and it just never showed it.
Well,
Yeah.
like, what's the biggest sense of stakes that this movie has? Is it when...
train scene.
Is it the train
Yeah,
scene, or is it when the girl gets possessed and is like maybe gonna stab Josh O'Connor?
Well, one, he's the main character, so
Right, so
like,
they're not gonna do that.
right, like, unless they're subverting this. Like, I've only seen that happen once, where the guy
I would have been okay with it if he would have gotten murdered, and then
Yeah,
like
it
it would have just completely like segued into something
probably would
different,
have
and,
made it
like,
more
crazier.
exciting.
Yeah,
yeah,
where
she's
it's
like possessed now, and
fuck, this is insane.
Right, maybe give her the ability to see math language or whatever the
Yeah,
hell.
like fucking like she grabs it, and instead of her exploding like the other guy did, she's just like
harnesses. Yeah. All of a sudden, she's got answers. Yeah, I don't know. I think the train scene for me was kind of like at least the highest stakes, because what's gonna happen? I don't know. But that was like, I was on the edge of my seat with that. I was like, all right, like, how are they getting out of this?
There's elements of this movie that, like, when you kind of isolate them, feel like, okay, this is impressive, this is fun. I'm like paying attention, and I'm seated, as the kids say now. But when you put it all, when you string it all together,
actually,
it just is so bloated.
It's the motel scene where he gets caught. Like, that's the highest stakes, because at that point, it's what's gonna happen next. Oh, Emily Blunt's gonna come in and fucking Obi-Wan and get you out.
Yeah,
And she's only being driven there because Coleman Domingo is saying, "Trust your instincts." And I was like, how George Lucas walked in and was like, "I'll tell you how to get around some of this."
we're gonna use Star Wars logic.
Yeah. You got Yoda. That's what I'm saying. Yoda's gonna be talking to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's gonna go and save freaking.
these are not the droids you're looking for.
Josh O'Connor's now
That's
a Jedi.
what she did walking out, though. Like,
I know, literally.
Sorry,
It did throw me through a loop when I saw that the first time too, where I was like, "Is that really how we're
Yes.
fucking getting through this?"
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
And just remember, the bad guys aren't
Okay.
going to do anything at the end except sit down and watch.
I mean, now one of those motherfuckers has schizophrenia, and they're like, "Bah, bam!"
The one guy did. The one guy that was like,
He's the only one that was like, I'm immune to your bullshit, kind of.
it was like shoving people out of the way, like a mad dog trying to get in the car to get them.
Right.
And I was like, and then I was like, that feels weird too now, because like, is this guy gonna like? So here's another idea. That guy gets back, looks at Colin Firth, is like, dude, you're fucking weak. Pop, pop. I'm taking over.
Well, it's like you almost want Colin Firth's character to be like this fucking isolated weirdo that like has no backstory, where like she looks at all these people. How effective would it have been if she looks at all these people, she like gets them to get their guard down and back off, she looks at Colin Firth, there's fucking nothing. There's just like emptiness.
She gets like a headache,
coldness. There's like, and it's not even because of like his weird alien shit that he has with like the totem that he's holding. It's because he's just that fucked of a person, and it maybe can capitalize on the fact that, hey, this movie's about empathy. Here's a guy who grew up with none of it. And this is what happens when you come up against someone like that. You just can't help them out at all. Like,
I agree. Dude, there's so many. there were so many different avenues that they could have went, and they just took a lot of shit and threw it into a melting pot, and then it just, like I said, it gets to the climax, and I'm just like, I really honestly don't care. Like, I had to grapple with this thing walking out of the theaters on like, there's some parts I like, some parts I don't like. I don't know what the overall message was. You know, like I can kind of see some of these themes here and there, but you know, it's a stew, right? And sometimes they're not the best because there's just way too much stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The pot just simmered not correctly.
Yeah, right. Like it's like the meat's a little dry, the potatoes are hard. I don't know why we put
are like really hard still for some reason, even though it's been on there for fucking 3 years.
The sauce is pretty good though.
That's what I'm saying.
The sauce stays good. Yeah, the sauce stays good.
Not every bite's terrible, but it's also not what I was expecting.
Yep. Yeah. As soon as you get that one, just
we can start wrapping this up. Was there anything else we want to talk about with Disclosure Day before we get into ratings?
I think we took a baseball bat out pretty good.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like I don't even hate this movie.
No, I don't completely. I had strong words at the beginning where I'm like, I hate this movie, so it sucks. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I've definitely seen worse, but I definitely don't put it in my top 10 even of like alien movies whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're kind of, I mean, that's why I'd be going to you about this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this would be on the lower end of my Spielberg ranking.
Yeah.
And I guess we can get into ratings unless we have anything else.
No, I don't have it. I don't even know if the score was good.
I think Old was better than this.
Wow.
And I think it's a hot take too.
I don't think I can get behind that, but you know, power to you.
I only because Old's an original concept. This was a concept that they could have made better.
Yes.
And they didn't. And
John Williams did do the score. I didn't hate the score. It is in line with a lot of what he's done. So
yeah, I, mean, I think it was good. I like the score too.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get into ratings then. I will go first.
Okay.
So wrestled with this a little bit after watching, mostly just in terms of like, yeah, I guess this stuff just didn't quite work for me. The script is all over the place. The performances range from like, yeah, this is pretty good to like, you didn't really leave much of a mark on the wave of this movie's runtime. I feel like this is Spielberg kind of taking a lot of what people like about his other films, his like more totemic pieces of work, and just sort of like seeing if he can like implement a good majority of it in a film like this. You know, Indiana Jones action to like alien espionage and like some kind of like thriller stuff going on here. But at the end of the day, it just kind of feels like a collage of something that is just like fine. Like is just a movie that I'm not really gonna revisit or be excited to revisit. I don't really think it's gonna stick with me too much. This is I would say low 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solid.
Again, didn't hate it. I think it had some stuff that was a little bit exciting. The third act really did kind of like make me lean forward and go like, okay, I'm invested a bit. Kind of brought me back in a tad, but not enough to really make me excited leaving the theater.
Right.
So,
do you want to take what do they call it? You want to end it? I'll go next if you want to get out.
Yeah, I'll end it then.
Awesome. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's nice. This is a nothing burger to me. You know, it's a lot of the times that you get a credited director or like a director that's got some known director, right? Like you don't have a lot of those nothing. It's either one way or another. I think that's why I was so confused because I'm like, there's a lot of me that I'm like, I just don't want to like this thing. But then there's other parts that I might remember, right? Like I think there are some well done scenes in here. Script not that great, like we said. The acting in this, like I feel like people are being forced to say like this was either good or bad. And it's just like no, it feels like everyone kind of just mailed it in. You know, score don't really remember much. So I it's unfortunate that this is happening to Spieley. I also looked at I had to see how much money it costs $150 million to make. It's at 44 right now.
I'm not surprised. Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so you know, it's just this is a 6 out of 10. This is going to be like one of those movies where the rewatchability of this thing to me too is like I don't know if I'm going to take anything away on a second viewing because they don't really say much. Like Trevor, I'm so happy that you came in to talk about it because like there are things that I just didn't. I was kind of curious as like what could they have done, but talking about some of these other elements of the movie that they could have dove into actually makes me even more upset. And I think that's what would have been more memorable out of this than what we got. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Low 6 out of 10. I'm with you.
Yep. I completely agree with almost every sentiment that both of you guys had. I think it was more for me, it was like a whimsical romp through like something that was such like a heavy topic that everybody knows about, everybody has some type of opinion on, and to fumble it so bad. Where it's like you had so many avenues that you could have taken, and you took the one that was the most potholed and just missing certain aspects of road signs and things where it's like, man, we really had it here and we just kind of just missed the boat.
Yeah.
And like I absolutely love almost everything Spielberg does, but I definitely think that there's just certain things that you just kind of can't just like shoehorn into movies like this and hope it works because of who you are and like what you've done in the past. And like coming off of the Backrooms to see this, I was already sitting on cloud nine. Like the Backrooms was really good in my opinion. I was like, this is such a interesting IP in its own right too that nothing's gonna knock it. And then I saw it, and that's where the opinion kind of faltered. Or it's like, man, it's fine. It's fine for I would say weekend watch at home, like in your on your own time. Like if you want to watch it with like the girlfriend or like the wife or something. Like I think it's a fun experience then.
Yeah, I could see myself like looking up scenes of this on YouTube.
Yeah,
just like, you know, the train scene or like, you know, the chase scene in the car.
The fucking like the actual really well doneness of them going through the broadcasting studio and switching through everything when everything's going crazy. I was like, that really was well done. I was like, that's
the first one with Emily Blunt or the second?
The second time when they were like when he was in the control room, they're like 32 switch over here, 32 switch over there, and then it just kept like flicking and flicking.
Honestly, like maybe good. One of the biggest points of tension in the movie that works, I would say.
Are they going to get this up?
Are they going to get this up? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That to me held the most tension when they started seeing too, like the flipping of like, well, they're picking it up here, they're picking it up there, and then every news channel has it. That to me had more weight than when they were like getting chased out of buildings and shit.
For sure. I kind of forgot about that, and I forgot about I actually like the one with Emily Blunt getting into the news. That was all monologue, like, or she had some dialogue going on, but she had to hit her marks and all that stuff. So there's some good elements. So you say, are you 6 out of 10? Or
I
what
think
do you got?
5.5.
5.5.
So like lower 6.
Dewey Decimal System over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I can't give it a 6 because it's
algebra.
like it's 5, but it's better than like just like a middling 5.
Yeah.
So like 5.5 seems accurate.
You sure you're not speaking math, dog?
Dude, math's okay. Maybe I could talk to aliens.
Yeah, is he a Josh O'Connor or is he an Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
We got to cut him up to find out. Cool. Well, that was our discussion on Disclosure Day. We have a game that I would like to play.
You got time? Are you good on time?
I'll say if we make it decently quick, yes.
Okay. We'll make this quick then. I will call this game Aliens versus Podcasters.
Oh,
so I have in my hand the X-Files.
Okay.
And so basically how this game is going to work, and it'll work with you two. I was hoping Riley would be here as well for this, but we'll still have fun with it. I'm going to show you guys a picture of an alien from a movie, and I want you guys to buzz in with your name.
Oh.
And I want you to tell me the movie that the alien came from, and you will get a bonus point if you can tell me the year the movie came out.
Okay.
All right.
So, and the person who wants the bonus point can only be the person who guessed correctly the movie.
Right. Okay.
So, I have 16 images.
16.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how
Hell
fast.
yeah.
All right. Image number 1.
Buzz.
I was gonna say, are we just saying Buzz?
You're buzzing in with your name.
Or McLean.
Yes.
Signs.
Correct.
And then I have to guess a year. Or is
For
that
a bonus point.
I think I know the year.
Oh,
Mac is the only one who can guess.
2003.
2002.
Fuck.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, it's 2002 or 1. It's one of those.
I was
two.
thinking 03, 04.
Also, I will say for the audio listeners, I mean, it's only going to be audio listeners, but on the YouTube version, I will include the pictures.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
you can play along as well. Image number 2.
Trevor, it's Alien from the movie Alien.
Yep. What year?
Oh, would that be 96?
That is 79.
Oh, it's older than that. Fuck.
You're all right. Resurrection was around that time.
Yep, that's when I got into it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, Resurrection was the 90s one. Image number 3.
Ooh, it's dark.
Just black and white.
Trevor? Is it The Thing?
No.
I don't know.
Mac, you got a guess?
So am I allowed to hold it now, or like I can't?
Sorry. I had to print a lot of these in black and white because the color took forever.
War of the Worlds.
It is War of the Worlds.
No, it's not.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
2003.
2005.
God damn it.
Is. I see it.
Yeah.
I see
sorry.
it now.
So I will say the signs picture I printed in color, that took maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I had to do the rest of them in black and white.
Printer
No,
started
you're good.
smoking.
You're good.
All right. Image number 4.
McLean.
Yes.
Attack the Block.
It is Attack the Block. What year did that come out?
2007.
2011.
I need to watch that movie.
Attack the Block.
Yeah, I've heard it was okay.
It's fun. It's fun.
You like originality and like it's a little campy.
It's all right.
It's like
Yeah.
slightly lamer Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
I do like Shaun of the Dead a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh,
All right. Image number 5.
McLean. They Live.
Yep.
1986.
1988.
I'll say you nailed that shit. That was also a great movie.
I'm also at a weird angle,
you've
so
seen
like
that one?
if I can hold it better so both of you guys can see it, like
You're doing fine.
okay.
Hold it more towards John Wick, though. I'll say then it won't be behind your head for me.
Okay. Image number 6.
Shit.
McLean.
Yes.
Arrival.
It is Arrival.
2008.
Arrival's 2016.
The worst thing is I know all of these because I'm like, I recognize that, but
Well, I feel like these are all movies that we've talked on here. Actually, I just watched that one with my wife. I was like, I thought it was a good movie, and it was what's our boy's name that directed it?
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
My favorite director.
Yeah, I started playing with my daughter, and my wife, she kept watching. She actually got to like 30 minutes left in the film and fell asleep.
heck yeah.
And I was like, "Did you not
finish
like it?" And she was like, "No, it was really good." I was like, "You fell asleep?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know."
It's long.
It's like, how do you do that?
All right. Image number.
Put it right on the John Wick.
Okay. Image number 7.
Oh, McLean. Mars Attacks.
Yep.
Yep.
96.
It is 96. You get 2 points there. All right. So for those keeping track, Mac has 7 points. Trevor has 1.
Watched that in 96 in a hotel room with my dad and my brother. Scared the fuck out of
That's
me.
awesome.
All right. Image number 8.
Oh, Trevor.
Yes.
That is District 7.
Oh no.
It's not
McLean,
District 9.
Sorry,
I said it twice.
you're good.
I
I'm
said
gonna
the
give
wrong
it. I'd
number.
give it to him.
You're giving Trevor the
yeah,
point? Okay.
he was. It's right
I
there.
knew it.
Yeah, it's not like you threw that shit at the wall.
Yeah, I was like, I fucking know it.
What year did District 9 come out?
2010.
2009. Fuck. That's okay. You still get the point for the right guess.
Hell yeah.
All right. Image number 9. I should have made District 9.
Oh, Trevor.
Yes.
Paul.
That's right.
Nice.
Good get.
That's a funny one.
Speaking of Shaun of the Dead, right?
Can you give me the year?
Let's do 2012.
2011.
Fucking shit. Dude.
Now you know how I feel. Yeah.
So close every time.
All right. Image number 10.
Trevor. That's Jimmy Neutron.
That is Jimmy Neutron.
Didn't know that.
That's the Ectopians.
Jimmy Neutron movie, what year?
That would have been 2003.
2001.
Dude, I'm on point tonight though,
Yeah,
with the years.
you said two. I was like, that feels right.
All right. Image number 11.
Ooh.
McLean.
Yes.
Nope.
That's right.
I was going to say, I just seen that too.
2023.
I love this concept.
2022.
Fuck.
Dude, that's crazy.
Nope.
Yeah, I love the concept of it being an organic ship that's like an alien itself.
Nope is a pretty great movie.
I just threw that on again because I think it's on Netflix, and I was like, I just love this movie. Yeah, that was a new take, kind of too on the extraterrestrial.
due for a rewatch on all of Jordan Peele's movies, honestly.
Maybe not
Truths.
all. I don't know if
I kind of defend us.
You do?
Even as stupid as like the some of the plot stuff is.
Yeah.
I still have fun with it. All right. Image number 12.
Ooh, Trevor.
Yes.
That is Cloverfield.
That is Cloverfield.
Wow.
What year did Cloverfield come out?
Snipe.
That is from 2009.
I'm gonna say 2004.
It's 2008.
Damn. Nice.
I figured Trevor would get that one, especially since he mentioned his love of Godzilla. And
Yeah.
I would imagine Cloverfield was a pretty big movie for you when it came out.
I own Cloverfield Lane, and Cloverfield Paradox, all on
Nice.
DVD.
You
Because I
like
love
the
that shit.
Paradox?
It's fine. It's part of the ethos.
Okay.
They
It's
have
fine.
Paradox
Okay.
on physical? I thought that was like a Netflix
I found
movie.
it at Big Lots.
Nice. Okay.
Not even joking.
Is it in a cardboard box?
No, it came in a double disc set though.
Oh,
of
really?
like Paradox and Cloverfield Lane. And I was
Oh.
like, sick.
I remember when so Cloverfield came out. That was like one of the found footage things, right? That was it felt POV was kind of in at that
Yeah.
time. So that was a huge one. I remember when that came out, right? And then Lane came out. I didn't like Lane that much. I don't know how you felt about it.
It's fine. I didn't love it as much as I liked the first one.
Yeah.
First one was always gonna be my whole. Like,
That one's fun.
great.
Yeah.
Well, they did the thing too where like, especially with Lane and Paradox, right, where they like found scripts that weren't related to Cloverfield.
Yeah.
And then J.J. Abrams got a hold of it and was like, hey, this is a Cloverfield movie now.
Yeah, this is now mine.
I honestly.
All right. Image number 13.
Coin. Men in Black.
Men in Black.
1998.
97.
God damn it.
Dude, we're so fucking close.
All right. Mac has 9 points. Trevor has 5.
Ooh.
Trevor can
Coming
still
back.
come back
Yeah,
with
yeah,
bonus
couple-
points.
yeah.
All right. Image number 14.
Wait.
Trevor,
Yes.
is that Journey to Space?
No.
Oh fuck, what is it?
Mac?
McLean. That looks like Predator.
Is that your guess, or you just?
No, because you got a Halo thing in there or something. That is Live, Die, Repeat.
I will give it to you. Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. That movie has 2 different titles.
Yeah.
Now I see it with the replicators.
Look at the. You can see the.
and the
yeah. That's right.
And the suit.
Yeah. Live there 2013.
2014.
Motherfucker.
Dude,
You guys are so close on the years. All right. Image number 15.
Oh. That's McLean. The Thing.
That is The Thing.
1982.
Correct. 1982.
I'll say it's the old thing.
Yeah.
I'll say because I've seen the new one not that long ago
With
too.
it's the same chick from Cloverfield Lane, right? Allison?
I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
Oh, Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yes. She was in she plays a protagonist in both of them, I guess.
Yeah. Haven't seen either of those movies. This is the last one. Trevor, you won't be able to win, but we'll still play it just to have fun.
Heck yeah. Oh shit. I know this one. I can't think of the name of it. Oh fuck.
All right. Oh my god, that looks it's The Simpsons. McLean, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
It is Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I was gonna say I thought that's what it was, but like the squinty face made me think of like that
They-
looks like Paul.
So they had that image in Disclosure Day. They showed, and
They did.
I was looking at that. I was like, "There's no way that they're pulling from Close Encounters and putting it in here." And they showed that, and I was like, "If they did, it's remarkable that Spielberg was just like, I'm gonna keep this one going."
Right.
Like that looks exactly like the alien that we saw. Maybe just not as bug. Like he kind of rounded the eyes.
His head's not as round.
Blew those eyes up.
Yeah.
Too.
Can you give me the year?
1981.
1977.
Fuck that was.
We weren't. There was no date that we gave that was without being 5 years in that fucking realm. That's
I did
crazy.
have one bad one.
Only one.
Arrival was bad.
Arrival was like 6 or 8 years off, I think.
Yeah,
But that was the farthest that any of the guesses were
Well,
off.
the Alien one was also pretty far off.
Oh wait, that's
but
right.
you
That's
went
true.
With Resurrection.
I
Like, you
was
did-
gonna say,
you know,
yeah.
that, like it doesn't.
You
have
said
to
like
be-
96 or something.
Yeah, I
like
said
that.
96.
When did Alien Resurrection come out? Let's see that. That's what I bet you that was 97.
Let me
I
look
was
it
gonna
up.
say if it is, I'm gonna laugh really hard.
Alien Resurrection, 1997. So you were
my
1 year
God.
off from
See?
Resurrection.
That's what we're saying.
Because that's
what
the
we're
first
talking about.
Alien movie that I watched. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the first original
Sigourney
Alien.
Weaver playing basketball.
Yeah.
That's actually So my dad, we would go out when we do like family vacations if we stayed in hotels, and like we would rent movies. That was like my dad's big thing. Then he was like, whatever, age appropriate, whatever. We rented Alien Resurrection. I only made it as far to that basketball scene, and she hits the shot, and I think that's like when I fell asleep. So it's like the most I've seen of that.
How could you
movie.
fall asleep? Even Ron Perlman was impressed with that.
Yeah.
It just felt kind of dirty, and like there wasn't.
It was
lot
a little
going
greasy.
on.
It's a
Yeah.
filthy ass movie for filthy ass people,
Yep.
but it's got some fun stuff.
I love it.
All right.
Cool. Well, that was Aliens versus Podcasters. Thank you guys for playing. Mac ended up getting 13 points. Trevor ended up getting 5. But you know what? I think the real winner was Riley for not having to sit through this shit fest. So, congrats, Riley. No, I'm just
That would
joking.
have added another. Yeah, that would have added another element for sure.
And maybe it's a game that we can introduce in some other form when Riley's able to join us again for a future episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to have you guys back on,
Yeah.
both of you.
For sure. And we definitely have to have you guys out in a ghost hunt. And then
Oh,
we'll
I
do
would, dude. If we could make that happen,
Oh,
I
we
would
can easily
love
make that
to
happen.
Fucking just walk around with you guys and scare the shit out of myself.
Yeah, we've got all the equipment and all that good stuff.
I think I'd be
Oh,
down
yeah.
too. One more bit of business before we wrap up.
Yes.
I get to make a recommendation.
God damn it.
So let me look up some information about this movie.
I love this part.
So
Now watch it, bitch.
I know it's so funny listening back to certain episodes where like I make a recommendation to Mac and you can just hear the contempt in his voice, just like the absolute despondency of the movie that I'm forcing him to watch.
Well, here's the thing too. I've seen some like bad movies that I'm like, these were supposed to be good, and then there's also times where Kyle's like, I like watching really bad movies, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking.
Or there's sometimes where I think like, okay, we've talked about too many good to great movies on this show in a row.
Yeah.
We need a palate cleanser.
Let's get some
We
more
need to, like,
disclosure days on here.
shake it up, right?
Some nothing burgers where we can just lay into it if we want to.
Hey Mac, there's a film that I've heard of called Fateful Findings. Let's check it out.
Rubber. You got to see Rubber.
Seen it.
I think I have seen the first half of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Experimental.
This is
Yeah.
experimental.
This is a film. But no, I'm recommending a 1967 film.
Okay.
Directed by Jacques Tati.
Jacques Tati.
I'm not going to try to have you guess.
Is this an American-made film?
I don't really know.
Fuck.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I can't even guess at that.
No, I'll just tell you.
Oh, okay.
It is
It's
called
one of the-
Playtime.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of this.
This is a very kind of like, we're talking about like kind of liminal spaces and like the idea
this
of
is
like sets and that sort of thing being the foreground of like a narrative or like the focal point of a movie. This is something that I've been aware of for a minute, and I've seen clips of it, and it seems like it could be fun, maybe like a lighter discussion with something more so to do with like the format of movies than like a story or characters, just like kind of how it was made and put together. It's 115 minutes long. Playtime.
Playtime.
This looks like
This is what the
quirky
cover looks
comedy.
like.
Oh, I just read it.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be sort of like a Charlie Chaplin-esque display of like, oh, look at this wacky environment and the people in it. So I'm excited to talk to you about Playtime.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. All right. Tune in next time.
Yeah. Hey, guys, tune in for episode 123. Discussion's like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Trevor, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Of course. I love you guys. Thank you. I
Yeah,
had a
this was
blast.
awesome, man.
Yeah, tell people about Pierre Chenet, this investigative paranormal documentary coming out. And,
So is that also? And I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
I
good.
just want to make sure that's not. I don't want to say distributed anywhere, but like, can you watch it on YouTube? Can you see it on anywhere else, or do you have to be in the theater?
So it is now streaming on Paraflix.
Okay.
So strictly on Paraflix. It is exclusive to that app and I guess you could call streaming
How
platform.
do you spell it? P-A-R-A Flix.
Yep.
F-I.
Yep. So just
FL.
Paraflix.
Okay.
Yep. And it's a small fee, but there's also a free trial that you can get on and go watch the movie too. And it's called Piercini, Plague in the Pines, and it's basically a town that was once, I think, 1,200 or so people that over time just dissolved into like 18 people living there after just pitfall of diphtheria outbreak and fire and just terrible things happening, and then government not coming to help, and just many things that went wrong for the little town of Piercini. And then the whole place itself, I feel like, is just rife with energy. And then we just stumbled upon it one day and then went out there, and as you'll see when you watch a documentary, if you ever get a chance to, it's one of those places where it's just like a herring in the woods, where it's unassuming as hell, and then you just walk through it and you're just, wow, who would have guessed that what's underneath my foot, it holds so much whole weight. How do you spell pure? So PERE and then C8 and then space and then CHENNY.
I am not going to lie, when I was watching it before anyone pronounced Pierre Cheney, I was like,
I don't know how to spell it or say it.
It's Pierre Cheney. It's about Dick Cheney, right? Haunting this environment after he passed away.
We would always put like the French Cheney on it.
Mm-hmm. You got to put a little extra, a little je ne sais quoi on there.
I might have spelled it wrong too. I don't know.
I mean, no, all good. I went to IMDb. I don't know where to. I'm just trying to get this stored so I can throw this on because I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Plague in the Pines.
Yep, Plague in the Pines.
Sick. I got it. Paraflix.
It's a very good, solid documentary. I enjoyed watching it.
It's a yeah. Is it? Did you guys pick that out?
Yeah. That's the one. But that was a pet project of ours that we did in collaboration with a bunch of friends that are from Michigan. Like everybody's local, except for Tara. Tara is our Canadian friend who just got married to our other Michigander friend down here. So
she fits in.
Yeah, so she fits right in. Yep. And then we've got plenty of other things that we've been working on. Like me and Riley just started a new documentary ourselves for the LST 393, the World War II ship that's downtown in Muskegon Fish Docks down there.
Yeah.
We got 18 hours exclusive, full access to the boat. So we did a whole documentary and we've been working on that.
Man, you guys are fucking big time.
No.
Well, yeah.
We go and do what we can, but like we pay for a lot of locations, and like we get really humbled by a lot of people that we've became really close with. That'll be like, hey, if you guys are not busy, like come out here and investigate with us. And it's like we like to try to throw that back around because the community is everything. That's the best.
I was just about to say like that. Even if it's you guys are documenting shit. You got something on Paraflix. Anyways, I don't want to get like it's like I'm turning into a Stans over here, but that's awesome, man. I'm really happy.
No, and I think you have the right to be proud of your work and like the things you do, and you're bringing something to people that is just like inherently interesting through your guys' lens and like your voice, and I think that's really cool. Also, people should just check out What Goes Bump in the Night. You can go back, listen to old episodes, like see the evolution of the show, see the point in which like, these guys are actually going to these locations and, doing this stuff. I think you guys have another one coming up, right? Where you guys are like going to like this prison or something, or I saw something on your story.
So we went that when we were posting the story, that was for the ship. So like that was like all on the ship and whatnot. But we also are going to go do another investigation, hopefully relatively soon, with a couple more people in a couple other locations that are down in Indiana. Like we have one that we backlogged that was on a trip down there for our friends that are also doing a Belgunnis documentary. And then they have cadaver dogs going out on the property that Belgunnis used to like live on, and they think they found remains and stuff. That'll change the whole course of like that too. So it's like we've got so many projects that we've been like absolutely like hammering. And like for everybody that goes and checks out everything, if you go to Spotify, you'll see that we have the audio medium for What Goes Bump in the Night. And then I haven't posted very much lately because we've been so heavily on to the video aspects of everything. But we just want to make sure that everything that we put out is top tier quality, and we're not just fucking face rolling things and throwing it out in the wind. So it's like if you guys are out there and you're listening and stuff like that, just hold tight. It's coming. It just takes a while. Consistency is hard when you got a whole life and then you got 1,200 things to do in one day.
You got a passion project or you got passion behind it, right? So you also want to do right by that.
Yep. And that's exactly it. It's like I don't feel right when I sit down and I can't put my full effort into making a good audio podcast when it's like, well, if I just fucking phone it in, it doesn't sound that good. So, and that does not look good for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, we enjoyed having you on.
Yeah.
You were a great guest and really great to talk to you about these movies. Really enjoyed your insight. Yeah, next time, if you guys want to come on, and if Riley's available too, we can have like a Halloween thing, perhaps. Talk about some spooky movies.
Yeah.
If there's anything that you guys want to put on the slate that we haven't discussed already, just reach out and let us know. We're pretty flexible and down to clown.
Yeah, we're always down to clown too. And I mean, you guys know we're all in the same area. Like, we'll just make all this happen because you guys need to come investigate with us. It's so much fun.
If I can, yes, if we get a time that works, because I hate to say it too, but I mean, like, when the fall picks up, I get so fucking busy with stuff.
Mac is a busy boy.
Yeah.
We are the same way because me and Riley do hunting and things like that. And when fall time usually hits is when hockey starts. And that's when I'm also...
Okay,
yep,
there it is.
Can I say this is a perfect in-line thing with what I wanted to say anyway? Watching that documentary with you guys, it never hit me just how fucking Midwest we all are until I watched that documentary. Like, it's just...
so bad.
I was watching it with Megan and I was like... This might be the most Midwest ass shit I've seen since Escanaba into Moonlight. Like,
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait.
And it's just all of us being our personal selves.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
the best.
It's so funny. It's funny. It's a good documentary. Glad to have you on. McLean, is there anything that we should cap off with before we disclose the end of the episode? The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew Podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.
And remember to keep your ears and eyes open for it really goes bump in the night.